The desert has called them. As dawn breaks, on a new adventure, the world is changing. This is the race for the planet. Extreme E is back. Fully electric off-road racing, where equality is true, and legends face a new generation. We're here to make a difference, to highlight the damage, pioneer technology, and leave a lasting legacy. As we accelerate towards a better tomorrow, our electric odyssey begins here, where the blazing heat disorientates and the sands shift. Focus your mind. Remember why you race. The Desert X Prix is waiting.
Hello and welcome to Extreme E. This is season 2 where we're all set to go racing again to see who will be the fastest, the most agile, the most willing to risk it all for victory. And it starts in the stunning desert of NEOM, Saudi Arabia.
Just like last season, our mission is to race without a trace, to leave a lasting legacy and to highlight the impact of climate change in some of the world's most remote locations.
Here in NEOM, water is the issue. The desert is growing bigger, biodiversity is being lost, and temperatures in the Middle East are rising twice as fast as anywhere else.
We're also here to race, though, of course. Now, last year, Rosberg X Racing pipped X44 to the title, but this season we have driver changes. We've got 3 teams who return with a different lineup. We've got a brand new team taking to the dunes too. Very much looking forward to seeing who is going to be quickest this year. Let's tell you a little bit more about our drivers and our teams for this fascinating start to season 2 of Extreme E.
Extreme E has seen the world's best racing talent come together, where each team consists of 1 female and 1 male driver.
Season 1 winners Rosberg X Racing, founded by F1 champion Nico Rosberg, are back to defend their crown. 4-time and reigning World Rallycross champion Johan Kristoffersson returns, but this year he'll be joined by Michaela Arling-Kotlinski, who makes the move from JBXE. Can this new lineup retain the championship title?
Looking to dethrone the champs is Lewis Hamilton's team, X44. 9 times World Rally champion Sebastian Loeb will partner Cristina Gutierrez.
Jutta Kleinschmidt returns for Abt Cupra XE. The only female driver ever to win the Dakar Rally has a new partner for season 2 and is joined by 4-time and reigning Dakar Rally champion Nasser Al-Attiyah.
2019 World Rallycross champion Timmy Hansen and teammate Katie Munnings will race again for Genesis Andretti United in 2022.
With all the pace but none of the luck, Chip Ganassi Racing will be looking for consistent results in season 2. The all-American outfit having retained the services of drivers Kyle LeDuc and Sarah Price.
2 times World Rally champion and 4 times Dakar Rally winner Carlos Sainz's team Acciona Sainz will see El Matador once again pairing up with Laia Sanz. Veloce Racing have a new driver lineup. Christine Giampaoli Zonka makes a move from Excite Energy Racing and is alongside South African racer Lance Woolridge.
With Christine GZ moving on, Excite Energy Racing will see Oliver Bennett return alongside 21-year-old Swedish rallycross prodigy Clara Anderson.
Jensen Button's team JBXE and their driver Kevin Hanson will be looking to extend their podium streak in 2022, and with reigning champion Molly Taylor swapping teams from Rosberg X Racing, they'll be full of confidence that they have what it takes to make a claim for the title.
Last, but certainly not least, is a brand new entry from motorsport royalty McLaren. American off-road racer Tanner Faust partners Kiwi driver Emma Gilmore, who is McLaren's first ever female racing driver.
With 32 FIA World Championships shared between the teams and drivers, the stage is set for a dramatic season 2. But who will lift the trophy?
Well, a couple of stories, of course, there. Clara Anderson unfortunately tested positive for COVID, meaning she was replaced, or will be replaced this weekend at Excite Energy Racing by Tamara Molinaro, the championship driver. But I think the biggest story over the winter was Molly Taylor departing Rosberg X Racing, and ahead of the racing, we caught up with the team.
Well, I'm down here with Rosberg X Racing and joined by team principal Kimo as well. And we have to ask the question that I think all of the fans at home will be asking, and that is, of course, the driver switch. What was the motivation between changing a championship winning team?
Well, first of all, it has to be said that Molly is obviously a wonderful driver, and she was a great asset for us last season. And we are really grateful and remain grateful for the contribution she made for our title campaign last year. Now, whilst the decision was very, very difficult for our management to be made, given the success we had last season, ultimately we decided to go for the switch in our driver lineup.
Absolutely, and we can now reveal the drivers. Michaela and Johan are here with us as well. Michaela, welcome to Rosberg X Racing. How excited are you to crack on with this season, with this new team?
Thank you, not so much. I mean, to be in the championship winning team is a great opportunity for me, also to drive together with Johan. I mean, we started well yesterday, so we feel confident for today.
And Johan, coming to you as well. Obviously, it's rained heavily overnight. Not quite what you expect from the desert, is it? More likely to be in Julius or something in the rallycross world. How do you think this course will have evolved overnight?
I think it will be even faster. I think with the rain, the sand has more grip and more compact. Less dust, of course. But now we've decided to do time trial this morning instead, and then we switch back to heats this afternoon. So, but it might be some more changes coming up, but we will just try to adjust and do our best from what they put on us.
And a lap each in free practice tomorrow. What were your thoughts on your new teammate?
Yeah, she did fantastic. I mean, we try to work as hard as we can and, you know, adapt quickly to the track. And Michaela drove season 1 as well, so we have some experience, both of us, from last year. So we try to put everything in one bag and do our maximum. Excited
to see how you guys get on today. Best of luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, Kristoffersson looking as unflustered as ever, a change of teammate, but, you know, pressure's on. Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski will definitely want to prove that she's a suitable replacement for Molly Taylor, and I'm sure Molly Taylor, who's gone to JBXE, is also going to want to give it a great performance this weekend. So let's take a look at where we're headed this fantastic Season 2 of Extreme E. Our first stop on the journey is NEOM, Saudi Arabia. This stunning, otherworldly landscape will see the teams take on huge sand dunes, ruts and rocks in the hunt for the first win of the season.
Next up, the championship heads back to Sardinia, Italy, for the Island X Prix. During our first visit, we saw huge crashes, tough battles, and the cars take on water for the first time. Totally thrilling. Wildfires the subject. Next up on our worldwide adventure, the Ocean X Prix on the shores of Senegal. The picturesque but highly polluted Atlantic Ocean will be the backdrop for our third event.
Our fourth and fifth race locations see the championship head to the Southern Hemisphere with 2 stops in South America. First up, Antofagasta, Chile, which will play host to the Copper X Prix before the series moves on to the final stop on our worldwide adventure in Punta del Este, Uruguay, where the championship fight comes up to a close. Who's going to be the champion of Season 2? New lineups, new venues. It's going to be a fantastic adventure.
Well, as we've lined it all up for you beautifully, you can see everybody very busy in the paddock, getting ready to get on with the season, getting ready to take on the challenges that NEOM Saudi Arabia will pose. And I can tell you what, there are a lot of challenges out there. There is rock, there is grass tufts, there is heavy sand that can suck the energy out of your car. But don't worry, if you're new to Extreme E, we'll look after you. We want to tell you what it's all about. This is everything you need to know.
Extreme E presents the toughest challenge in the world of motorsport, and we'll see 20 world-class drivers and 10 amazing teams go head-to-head in the pursuit of the championship title. Each team will consist of 1 female and 1 male driver. They will do battle in 5 X Prix across the globe, each bringing the world's attention to a specific environmental issue. An Extreme E race consists of 2 laps. The male and female driver must complete 1 lap each. Over the course of an X Prix, the quickest team through the Continental Traction Challenge collects a further 5 championship points. Each team has a hyperdrive power boost they can activate on every lap of the race. Expect strategy and tactics. Day 1 is qualifying, made up of 2 rounds where the teams will battle it out for qualifying points. Each team will race once in both of the qualifying rounds. Both qualifying rounds will consist of 2 5-car heats, and the results of round 1 will determine the new starting grids for round 2. The top 6 qualifiers from day 1 will go into the 2 semi-final races, with the bottom 4 teams going into the crazy race. Day 2 sees the knockout races, starting with the 2 semi-finals, where the top 2 teams from each race will progress to the final. The crazy race is the last chance to reach the final, with only the winner progressing to the main event. Grid play allows fans to vote for their favourite teams and drivers. The team that collects the most votes gets the first pick on grid position for the final. But there is a twist. The teams that do not reach the final can donate their votes to any other team, with the winners of the crazy race unable to receive any additional votes. In the 5-car final, the team that crosses the line first wins the Prix and claims 25 championship points, with the following teams collecting further points in descending order. Not forgetting the 5 championship points for the fastest team through the Continental Traction Challenge, which can make a huge difference. The team with the most championship points come the end of the season will be crowned Extreme E champions.
And what a track we have for you here in NEOM. You can see the spectacular setting with those sandstones, lots of grass tufts to try and trip people up. And Andrew, the start will be all important as ever.
Very much. Expecting the track here to develop a lot. You know, it's sand. It's going to change with every car that passes over it. There'll be areas which rut up. There'll be bumps which are going to catch people out. And it's also one which looks like it's going to really reward commitment. There are some very fast areas.
Going up to the top of this, you'll see a very rocky outlay where the cars actually have to go across that sand, and then they'll cross the rock and dip down into the sand. So a lot of changes there along the ridge line.
The whole track as well was designed with the local conservation group from NEOM to make sure that it didn't interfere with any of the local wildlife or any of the local important issues. We want to race without a trace. Continental Traction Challenge, an extra 5 championship points up for the fastest person through there over the course of the weekend was crucial last year in the championship.
Yeah, then we've got the first of 2 big drops. So up the escalator, around those little outlaying craggy rocks, and then down into what can be a very tricky section to the left. And then another jump, the summit through to the switch zone and the finish. It's a cracking course.
Yeah, it is really great to be racing at NEOM. Wonderful backdrop, and I'm expecting some interesting conditions. We're a couple of months earlier, temperatures are lower, it's a bit damper. It's very different to last year's race.
Certainly is, and it's fast, 6.9 kilometres as well. So let's give you an idea of what you can expect. Some of the action's got underway already, and we want to give you the best of it. Here is qualifying from NEOM.
2 qualifying sessions here in Saudi Arabia for round 1 of Extreme E 2022. The first one, single car action, and then on to racing for Q2 later. Nasser Al Attiyah, the brand new signing for Abt Cooper, did a brilliant lap time, but unfortunately missed the finish. Swung the car back around, lost a lot of time, very frustrated. X44's Gutierrez and Loeb were doing what they do best, going super quickly. Loeb almost a little bit too fast. Benchmark set by them, soon to be bettered by RXR. Johan Kristoffersson, the reigning champion, and his new teammate Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski were on fire. Veloce's Woolridge and Christine GZ looked like they might take that top spot until this happened to the latter. An enormous crash. Christine holding on tight in the car, ended up upside down, got herself out, but with an injury to her ankle and a lot of damage on the car. A question mark as to whether we'd see them in Q2. On to Q2 then, and the race portion. Indeed, Veloce were missing, but a fantastic battle out front between X44's Sebastian Loeb and Acciona Sainz's Carlos Sainz. Nasser Al Attiyah made this brilliant pass on Sainz later in the race, but as he tried to rejoin the track, clattered into the side of the Acciona Sainz machine, doing huge damage to it. Carlos Sainz got it round to the finish, but it retired, and as you can see, the Abt Cooper machine was stricken as well. Kyle Leduc easily passing it. Gutierrez brought home the X44 machine for the win, with Chip Ganassi in P2. Race 2 saw an epic battle between Timmy Hansen for Andretti United and Tanner Faust for McLaren. Faust just could not find a way through, but brought the car home in touch. We were looking at a great battle. As Arlen-Kotlinski came into the changeover zone, she slipped off the speed limiter. Meanwhile, Emma Gilmore couldn't get the McLaren restarted, and out front, Katie Munnings was flying for Andretti United, but being chased down by Johan Kristoffersson. Right at the end of the lap, The current champion passed Munnings on the run down the hill just before the line, but that speeding in the pit lane meant that they were given a 17-second penalty, and that dropped them down to P4. X44 take their 6th top qualifier spot in a row, the whole of last season and round 1 this year. Confirmation of the results, Kristoffersen and Arlen Kotlinski won Q1, but with their finish in Q2, Heat 2 being a lot lower than Loeb and Gutierrez's win in their race, it is Loeb and Gutierrez who take that top spot. On the right-hand side, 3 cars through to each of the 2 semi-finals, with 2 going through, 4 cars into the crazy race where only 1 will qualify.
I'm with a very happy Sebastian Loeb and Christina, who have just been reliving their run. A brilliant start from you, Seb, to get you into the best position on a dusty course.
Yes, for sure. I had a good start, so we were ahead in the first corner. That's what we wanted for a course like this, because it's fast and dusty, and so I could manage to stay ahead until the end to create a little gap, and Christina did a great job after. So we won the Q2.
It gives you a very good position as well, of course, going into semi-finals. How important, seeing that start and seeing the run, is that grid position?
The start position is very important for all the teams, so we try to push hard in the qualifying to take the best position for the semi-final.
A lot of commitment, a lot of dedication out there, and a lot of very good drivers, aren't there? Champion after champion.
And a bit of contact as well. You know, Nasser Al Attiyah, new to the series, straight into the side of Carlos Sainz, who was with us last year. They've competed together for many years on the Dakar. Are we going to see some grudge matches? Can we see a change in fortune for these guys from Chip Ganassi Racing? Drivers have swapped teams. It's all completely wide open. We really don't know who's going to be quick.
Yeah, and this track, I think, punishes. We've already seen some of the people that you wouldn't expect. So what can we expect to happen when it comes to the semi-finals? That's the question. It's time to go racing, I think. Yeah, let's do it. This is Extreme E.
Well, welcome to Sunday. It is finals day, semi-finals, of course, first up here in the Desert X Prix, the first round of season 2 of Extreme E. And we've got our semi-final cars already lined up, and one of our drivers looking very relaxed. Johan Kristoffersen, of course, 4 times Rallycross world champion. How are you feeling about this one?
No, I think I feel good. I will start in the center spot, so I have one car at each side, so start's going to be very, very important. I think even though it's not going to be so dusty, I think I would like to try and hand over the car to McKenna in the lead if possible. But yeah, let's see, it's going to be a tough race.
Reigning champion, of course, and you've got X44 right next to you. You'll be looking to, I'm sure, emulate the success you had in round 1 last year.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the aim, but I think we cannot always, we cannot really forget about our other competitors as well. I think Q1, Q2 showed that it's been, closest on time, I think, ever. So there is a lot of teams which are super, super fast. So, but of course, when you start against X44, of course, we would like to try and grab the win. But we cannot do more than just try our best.
Can't be much closer than last season, can it? Thank you very much to you, Johan. Best of luck. Okay, come on round then. We're going to head to X44. And here we have Christina in the car, ready to go. Christina, you've got RXR next to you, Johan Kristoffersen, of course, semi-final, all to play for here, top 2 through to the final, all or nothing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very important to have a good start, so I'm very focused in this point. And after that, we only want to give to Seb a good position, and then if we take 1 or 2, it will be enough to take the final.
We shall see how it goes. Thank you very much. Best of luck. Okay, heading to our final car on the grid. And this is some story. Clara Anderson tested positive for COVID on the eve of flying out here to Saudi Arabia. Tamara Molinaro has stepped in, and not just that, stepped up. You have been absolutely flying so far, Tamara. And you've got it all to play for here in the semi-final for a chance to make the final.
Yeah, it's not a really easy semi-final for us. I mean, we are up against the legends of this sport. But, we are going to give our best, and you never know what happens. And for sure, we are not going to give it up so easily. So let's see.
Thank you very much to you. Best of luck. Look forward to seeing you out there.
Great stuff from Laura Winter down on the grid. Drivers, that was just a few moments ago. They'll be sitting on the start line now, ready to head into this amazing backdrop for the first time racing with knockout format. Of course, yesterday a bit of racing for qualifying, which I have to say was sensational. Like, we've all been looking forward to going races and everyone was like, okay, wow, that was pretty wild. And we've got more wildness to come today.
Attention all teams, this is race control. Stand by for the start of the Desert X Prix. Semi-final 1 is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
So we are ready to go racing. This is semi-final 1. The teams are lined up. It's Excite, RXR and X44.
Remember, 2 go through from each of the semi-finals. So semi-final 1 and semi-final 2 have got 3 cars in each. The top 2 will qualify. The crazy race has 4 cars, and it is a proper crazy race now because only 1 goes through. And it was craziness yesterday. We're expecting more of that later. We've got all 3 of those races coming up for you right now. There is Gutierrez with her finger on the start button, maybe changing a setting just as she leaves the line. Reigning champion Christopherson in the middle of the grid. And then on the outside, Tamara Molinaro. Yesterday we saw a brilliant start from Ruffley, where X44 is sitting on the right-hand side for Andretti United. I note they're not in the ruts. Will they get a better start than Christopherson, who's in that heavily cut-up middle section away from the line now? X44 car sits down nicely, but Christopherson moves across to block them immediately. Trying to get alongside Gutierrez. He's just up behind Christopherson now. She takes the line that Fausto was on yesterday. She's still alongside the RXR machine. Up and over the first crest. Oh, sideways to Gutierrez. Gathers it up, slides out wide. Molinaro going to come through the gap now. Gutierrez, the rear end of the car kicks up. So out wide is Molinaro. Christopherson goes defensive on that second turn. X44 almost getting to P2, but Molinaro gets around the outside. So Gutierrez nearly got it done on Christopherson, but unfortunately, Jenny, the compromise was she now ends up in P3.
But now look, Excite and Molinaro just absolutely ploughing towards RXR. This will be the moment. Oh, that is a really sloppy car for X44, all over the place for Gutierrez. Looks like she's really struggling to hold on to that. It's getting some very unfortunate kicks up and down, but look, Christopherson looking in his mirrors to see exactly where the Excite car of Molinaro is, right behind you.
Gutierrez nearly got it done. Then she was compromised once she by the bumps in turn 1, but then also in the dust behind Molinaro. She couldn't see the line she wanted to be on. Hits one of those camel grass lumps and bumps, and you're off, basically. Molinaro's right up there. These 3 cars, if they can get back, you know, for the switch over close together. Oh, contact on the exit.
This is feisty stuff from Molinaro. She is going for Christopherson. She knows they're the current reigning champions of that car, and she is not giving them any extra room. She is giving it everything.
Oh, in the background, sideways, having a look inside again. Has Christopherson got a bit too deep, or is he carrying more speed wide? You're on board now with Johan. Can't see behind on the right-hand side, alternate line for Molinaro. So Molinaro's gone off to the right-hand side and gets past. Maybe a problem, or did she just get offline? X44 have come straight through, and Molinaro goes from the tailgate of Christopherson to the back of the field.
How strange. There was a weird kick at the top of the hill for Rosberg, and I wondered if she'd actually gone through and cut under. But then, as you say, maybe a problem for her because she's dropping back a little. But look how much Gutierrez is having to hold on to. It's like a bucking bronco at the rear end of that car.
Molinaro seems quick in the background. That was strange, Jenny, was it? We just couldn't see quite what happened after the attempt on Christopherson. It looked as though you saw Johan went high on the line and Molinaro went low. I don't know if she thought there was a better line down there that just didn't work out.
Maybe.
You know, you're still kind of exploring your lines. We've seen, particularly on this section, people taking different lines. She turns in now to the long right-hander, but doesn't seem to be losing too much time. But this is all played into Christopherson's hands, and RXR out front. Look, the big gaps now between the cars.
Yeah, absolutely. Christopherson at one point was looking really sketchy. He knew he was under so much pressure, but it's gone his way. Right, Excite using their hyperdrive. That means they get an extra 5 seconds of superpower boost, which is in an aim to try and claw back some of that time and distance between Gutierrez in the X44 Hamilton car. The car's nice and close together. A reminder, they do 1 lap, go into the switch zone, and then change over drivers and do another lap.
I think Molinaro's used that in a good place, so she's carried some of that speed up the hill. She now goes high and then low on the hill here, carrying speed down. She's going to be cautious through the long left. She's not. She drops down towards the low line. This is the line we saw yesterday Christopherson took, and also we saw Lance Woolridge taking it. looks pretty relaxed. You see her looking across to the left. She's looking at Gutierrez, her target there just in front. Here comes Christopherson down now to the switch zone. Gutierrez, I would say that there's not a lot of difference between those two lines, but Molinaro has definitely closed that gap using the hyperdrive where she did.
Now you've got to slam on the brakes as you come down that sort of ski zone hill onto 30 kilometers an hour. We saw a lot of mistakes there, a lot of penalties yesterday in the switch.
Some frustration, I think, in the car there on board, if you heard that. Okay, here's another look at the start. Gutierrez, that's that same line, Jenny. Do you remember yesterday, Andretti United, to me, the smoother grid positions are giving the better launch. She's alongside Johan, but as she comes over the crest, she gets a bad bounce and just has to gather it up. She runs across the road, and look, Molinaro's alongside already. She then hits the camel grass, drops to P3. Christopherson was actually quite tight on the inside here, covering it off, and then Molinaro around the outside. It was close between them.
Really close, really good start from all three of them, actually. It was fascinating to see. So you can see how close all the cars are when they come into the switch zone. To explain the switch, they have 45 seconds, mandatory stop. That was a lovely sliding stop from Excite in there. 45 seconds to change over driver. They have to hold for 45 seconds, and then we'll see them come out. Just look at this. This is the moment around the top of the rock section that we saw Molinaro really trying to push and pressure Christopherson.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a mistake from Johan or if he was struggling. You know, maybe he was struggling to get the car turned in where Molinaro hadn't. You know, maybe she used the handbrake and he didn't. But either way, she got the better exit, and I don't think Christopherson would have expected her to be that close.
Just look at the long shot. X44. Gutierrez has done a great job of sliding the rear end of that car, which I said looked loose. She slid it round so that actually they're facing slightly pointed out, and that looks like a really good drive position when they do the switch. First out, it is RXR. Remember, they're speed limited until those white signs where they can take off the 30-kilometre-an-hour limiter.
Has Loeb got a problem? Oh, just gets out in front, only just gets out in front of Excite. So Excite Energy Racing now have Ollie Bennett on board. So Bennett will try to hold on to the back of Sebastian Loeb, but Ollie will know he's got his work cut out here. You know, Loeb's 9-time World Rally Champion. But there's a lot to be learned from holding on to the back of somebody, and we've just seen, you know, Christopherson being hung onto the back of as well. And I think Ollie Bennett's gone up the inside of Sebastian Loeb into the first corner. Now coming up towards the top of the hill. Bennett on the left-hand side of your screen. Loeb hits the same bit of grass, I think, almost that Gutierrez did earlier on. Coming up now to the left-hander, Loeb's got the inside line. Ollie Bennett trying to carry the speed around the outside. Look back up the inside of him. Bennett's having a good weekend, isn't he? He's inside Loeb again on the way into turn 3. Loeb slides slightly wide. It couldn't be closer.
This is absolutely fascinating stuff. Bennett doing a cracking job, and I think Molinaro set him up for a really good challenge on Sebastian Loeb. Now, Loeb's job is to try and hunt down, as you can see, the RXR car out in front. What can they do? This is fantastic. Arlen Kotelinski in that car for Rosberg X Racing. Remember, she has switched teams, so getting to grips with that RXR car. But look, Bennett is not falling off the back of the X44 car.
No, he's got to follow him down this line. You see with the camel grass is left and right here. I was actually talking to Ollie yesterday, and he said it's 160 kilometres an hour in a dust cloud. Oh, Bennett's super late on the brakes. You can see the underguards of the car digging into the sand. He'll take a look on the exit here. Oh, no, flag for Bennett. So he's clipped the flag on the inside, Jenny. That's almost certainly going to be a 5-second penalty. That's a shame for Ollie. But I tell you what, he'll do well here. Whatever happens, follow Loeb. Do what Loeb does. That's how you pick up when you sit behind someone. And Ollie he'd be the first to admit that Loeb is obviously... Oh, wow! Problem for RXR. RXR have gone right to the back of the pack.
Wow, this is disaster. What has happened to Arlen Kotelinski? She's put on... I wonder if she made a mistake there, actually. The car is flying down the hill now as she uses her hyperdrive. She has got to claw back. There must have been an error there, I think, for whatever happened with RXR. They're now back, coming past Excite. This is a distraction Excite didn't need. They're all over the place. They thought they were in a battle for X44. Now they're in a battle with RXR, and X44 just easing away at the front a little bit. This is fascinating. What has happened? Oh, the rear end's all over the place. Come on, Arlen Kotelinski. You need to get control of this Odyssey 21.
Bennett makes the pass, so Arlen Kotelinski's gone sideways. Remember, we think Bennett's going to get a 5-second penalty, maybe more, for taking the flag down. It varies on whether you clip it or take it down. Arlen Kotelinski takes the Christopherson-Leduc line from yesterday, runs the car out wide. Bennett should get more exit speed here, but Kotelinski's up the inside. Contact between them. She almost hits the flag, but she just manages to avoid it. Bennett runs wide now towards the flag where Alatia went wide yesterday. So Bennett leading. Arlen Kotelinski on the way in, miles out in front now. Sebastian Loeb for X44. Looks like they're going to book their spot in. Ollie uses his hyperdrive now. He needs to gap her by 5-10 seconds if he can before the finish, Jenny, because I think that penalty's going to drop it back.
This is played perfectly for Sebastian Loeb. Look, he's just easing out at the front, trying to gain extra space, and these two are tussling for it all the time. Fascinating, and this is the most aggressive part of the track. We know it claimed victims yesterday. What will they do under pressure? Don't get in the ruts, don't flip the car.
Hats off to Molinaro for jumping in this car and doing a great job, but also to Bennett. For me, this is his strongest performance in Extreme E so far. He did clip the flag, and that is a shame, because I think it's going to cost him. He takes that low line as well. So we saw that this was pretty similar in terms of lap time to the high line. Let's see where he slots in behind.
And look, you can see the X44 car is coming to a finish. Sebastian Loeb flicks the car up, and he has one semi-final one against all of the odds, against adversity. And look, this is the battle for second place. Oh my goodness, it was so close. I think it's just gone to Excite. We need to look at the timing screens, because that was as close as you can get. But look, Excite go through, which means Rosberg X Racing, our champions from last year, could be out.
Depends on that flag hit, doesn't it, for Bennett? So I think Bennett will get a penalty. There was 7/100ths of a second in between them. Arlen Kotlinski risked it all down to the line, didn't she? Which, it was such a great race behind them, behind Loeb. But as I say, Bennett, I kind of feel sorry for him for just clipping that flag, because they're going to know that it makes the difference.
Good call. Got so excited.
I mean, no, there's the mistake. Wow.
Wow, that is really weird. The car just dug into that rut, got lost in the hole, and she couldn't get it out.
I wonder if there's something mechanical on that then, Jenny, but it seemed okay for the rest of the lap. You know, it was quick enough. Right, we're hearing no penalty for Excite, but I'm... OK, well, look, we'll have to leave the stewards to look at that. I saw the flag get hit, whether or not it went down or not. I mean, we'll have to see. If that's the case, Jenny, then you're right. RXR are out, which would be an amazing turn of events.
Michaela, flying along at the front, and then it just seems to all go wrong. What happened?
Well, I hit the bump, which really upset the car a lot. I was taking it easy there, because I had that yesterday, so I don't know why that happened. So yeah, that's where I lost the two cars, and I tried to do everything I could to keep the place and overtake. So let's see what happens.
Excite beat you to the line. They are under investigation for clipping a flag, so currently your place in the final hangs in the balance.
Yeah, it does. I mean, yeah, it's really a shame that happened, but let's see what they decide.
Thank you very much. We'll wait to see the results. Thank you.
But it does mean going through from that session will be Rosberg X Racing in second place, and X44 Loeb and Gutierrez sailing through in the end due to those problems for both of the other teams, and that moment where the pace of the RXR car just got absolutely sucked out. Let's go back down to Laura.
Gutted for Excite Energy. You know, it was such a good run, wasn't it, by Ollie and Tamara, but just that one flag clip and game over.
They've had a really, really good weekend, all in all. I'm so pleased for them, because it's difficult to get a driver change, then another driver change. You feel all at sea, but a great job. Now, you've seen the first semi-final race. Let's tell you a bit more about the car that makes this championship possible. The Odyssey 21, it's unique. It is a bit of a beast, but it's a beast that we love.
Extreme E's revolutionary electric SUV, the Odyssey 21, is an outstanding feat of racing technology and is designed to take on perhaps the toughest challenge in motorsport. The car's battery, produced by Williams Advanced Engineering, stores 40 kilowatt hours of usable energy, the equivalent of a 540 horsepower combustion engine capable of creating 1,000 Newton meters of torque. The Odyssey 21 is equipped with dual motors feeding the front and rear axles independently. The driver can move the torque balance between the motors directly from the cockpit. This allows them to maximise energy efficiency to the wheels, depending on factors like speed, grip and terrain. The chassis, crash structure and roll cage are all manufactured using a niobium reinforced steel alloy tubular frame. This provides strength, flexibility and protection to the drivers in a series that has already seen some spectacular crashes. Christina Gutierrez is off! She's into the trees! She's rolled the car! Oh, look at that! It's one of the biggest accidents of the season! The bodywork is made from a high-performance natural flax fibre composite, which is not only a renewable CO2 neutral material, but also lightweight and durable. Large ventilated disc brakes are responsible for slowing and stopping the car, whilst the huge dampers of the suspension system are designed to absorb the impacts of the varied environments it will race upon and can be adjusted to suit conditions. The all-purpose tyres designed by Continental will provide unrivaled grip, whilst innovating sustainable technologies, and will provide racing performance on the challenging terrains. For Season 2, Continental have developed a brand new tyre with an even more sustainable approach. It will see an all-new thread compound now being constructed from rice husks, as well as recycling roughly 58 PET plastic bottles into each tyre. The electricity used to power each Odyssey 21 is created on site sustainably, converting solar energy into the hydrogen fuel cell unit provided by AFC Energy. The Odyssey 21 is built to deliver unparalleled performance as sustainably as possible in the most extreme environments.
Extreme E is all about fast racing, extreme terrains, and of course the legacy we leave behind in each of the stunning locations we go to. And here in Saudi Arabia, we go racing with a purpose and of course race without a trace. So let's introduce you to our pit lane reporter once again, Laura Winter, who can tell us a little bit more about the fascinating neon backdrop that we find ourselves racing in.
Climate change is being accelerated by the huge quantities of greenhouse emissions that are being put into our atmosphere by human activity, nearly 3/4 of which comes from our use of energy. Our various industries use a large proportion of this, as do our buildings, but the way we move ourselves and goods from A to B causes over 16% of greenhouse emissions. And within that 16%, pipelines, trains, shipping and aviation all have relatively small parts to play, compared with the nearly 12% of gases that road transport uses. But what effect is this having on the deserts of the world, like those of Saudi Arabia?
Well, probably the most important thing is that it's warming at a rate that outstrips that of the global average temperature by quite a long way. The background global average for the last century is a degree and a bit, but we're seeing the sort of increases of around about 0.6 degrees per decade here, and the additional heat that we're seeing stresses everything. Temperatures above 50 degrees C are outright dangerous. It's a real issue. Climate change, we know for sure, is brought about by greenhouse gases, which are of human origin and are increasing. The key thing to do is to reduce that emission and eliminate it, and to do that as quickly as we possibly can. Extreme E then is contributing directly to the solutions, showcasing the role that electric cars can play, proving that they're capable of operating in extreme environments. It's not only through the promotion of electric vehicles that Extreme E is working, it's also through leaving behind legacy programs, things that last beyond the race itself. We're working with NEOM in this part of the Arabian Peninsula. NEOM seeks to reintroduce trees to a region where they've been removed and to recreate the sort of microclimates and environments in which ecosystems can function again. Water is an incredibly scarce resource in desert areas, but it does exist. And the re-nurturing process involves water at its center. So reintroducing species, nurturing them, carefully managing these environments is one small way of making that positive change.
Another look at the beautiful backdrop here in NEOM, Saudi Arabia for round 1 of 2022 Extreme E. Some great racing in semi-final 1, some brilliant racing yesterday in qualifying. This track is racing really well, but it is developing very quickly. There are areas now where we're seeing cars getting bad bounces. We're seeing people use some different lines. Look at this, stunning, absolutely beautiful.
It's where you'd go pod racing, isn't it? In some sort of futuristic racing, and this is what Alejandro Agag, the man who founded and thought up this whole concept, decided he wanted to do this, and it looks brilliant in NEOM in Saudi Arabia. Lots to get excited about and lots of racing still to come.
Attention all teams, this is race control. Stand by for the start of the Desert X Prix. Semi-final 2 is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
Teams in the command centre looking ready to go. There's Carlos Sainz, whose efforts finished early yesterday. Well, he made it round to the finish, but the car didn't go back out with Laia Sanz.
Yes,
Sarah Price is there as well. Look at Timmy Hansen, all the teammates ready to jump in.
Sanz saying she felt she was at a bit of a disadvantage because she didn't get that run out there again, so she'll be a little bit on the back foot here, but you can see them all lining up. Andretti United once again choosing the far right option. They liked that yesterday. Sainz and Sanz in the middle, and Leduc and Price taking the left hand in their Chip Ganassi car.
There is Laia Sanz. She will be a little bit of a disadvantage, but to be honest, I think the track is changing so quickly. And also of all the drivers, she's probably one who is very well placed to read the sand. You know, 10 Dakar and she's 9 on a bike. She knows how to read the road.
I think that bird was in competition with our drones. So you can get the best bird's eye view. Fantastic out there. So the dunes are waiting for them. Those big grass hillocks as well, ready to catch anybody out. And the lights red at the moment, not quite ready to go racing.
Leduc looking super calm on board the Hummer EV.
This is our starting grid for semi-final 2. As you can see, Chip Ganassi versus Acciona Sainz versus Genesis Andretti United. This is a great battle. Leduc, Sanz, Munnings. They had to choose who would go in the car first. Strategically looking ahead to the final, Andrew Coley, who's alongside me, Jenny Gow in commentary, Laura Winter down in the pit lane, and you've got to choose the right driver for what you think will be the right outcome at the right point.
You have to place your bets on when you think you need which driver to, you know, is it the start? Do you want to chase them down? Do you want to do the opposite of the other teams because you think you have the faster female or the faster male? You know, whichever way you do it, it's tactical to get the car to the final and then see if you can get that win.
A lot of these drivers with limited experience of going wheel to wheel and really having to bang and make contact, but I tell you what, they're soon learning and learning fast. All of these drivers returning for a second season. So let's see, eyes to the left or right. Some of the drivers complaining they were finding it difficult to see those start lights yesterday. Oh, final little pull on the belts for Katie Munnings. And we are almost ready for the start of semi-final 2 in Extreme E Round 1, Season 2. We go green, the cars are away from the line, and it looks like a very even match so far. Andretti United on the right trying to ease through. Acciona Sainz getting a little bit of a run now, and Chip Ganassi to the left-hand side, just trying to drag race up to the first turn. So it's Acciona Sainz taking the line, but look at this, taking the outside line and trying to get on the inside for turn 2. Somehow they've found some great pace for Ganassi. We know Kyle Leduc is an absolute demon in the car, and he is proving to be very aggressive out there. They needed good luck and good fortune, but this is a great showing for the car for Leduc to get out there, and Sainz and Sanz just trying to close the gap at the moment. Leia hunting him down.
Brilliant there by Kyle Leduc. He got the worst start of the 3 cars for me. It looked like he dropped back, but he's managed to keep the car full throttle. Mullings, you see, glances down at the wheel and uses a hyperdrive now, going to try and pass Sanz in the background. You can see the extra power carrying her along. This will narrow to one line, though. She's got to get it done soon before the camel grass comes in. Right up behind Leia Sanz. She's going to pull out from the outside. Watch out for the grass. Katie Munnings trying for a move here. Can she go late on the brakes? I don't think she's quite going to get there.
Yeah, unfortunately for her, the track narrows right down at the rock section. She's closed the gap in, but has she used that hyperdrive too early? Now it's gone, and Sainz might be able to use it more defensively as she needs to, but this is a thick rutted section. The sand flings up behind the cars. This is working perfectly for Chip Ganassi. They're managing to steal a little bit more lead. They're about 5 seconds ahead now of the Acciona Sainz team.
So looking up ahead, is this where the RXR car came, it went through the bump, isn't it, and went super slow? I think on the inside line. You see where they're crossing across the bumps now, Munnings on that inside. It was where we saw the bad bounce, and it almost came to a halt. So they all went with a slightly higher line to give them a different way of crossing those bumps. The gap now 4.63 between Chip Ganassi Racing and Acciona Sainz. Munnings will and Sands will want to stay in touch with Kyle Leduc as much as they can. Obviously, they don't want to give their teammates too much work to do after the switch.
Yeah, just remember, Chip Ganassi have not had it easy in Extreme E. Whenever they've been out in front, disaster has struck. So for them, it's really important that they can get a really clean, decent run in, don't have any disasters, and get their car through to the final. That's the battle for them. Look at that shot. It's absolutely beautiful. As you can see, the course twisting round, the drone keeping up with our cars. Out in front, it is Leduc, then it's Sands, and then you can see Katie Munnings just trying to find the right line to propel herself forward and take some speed down through this very fast, flat section.
Kyle Leduc already in it in the Hummer EV. They made the final once last year in Sardinia, and if you remember, they were leading it by a mile. They checked out. Kyle Leduc had done this out front. Only semis now, of course, but he'd done this. He was miles in front, and then poor Sarah Price, when she took over, the car broke. So they will just be desperate to book that slot in the final. They don't need massive risk here, but the bigger the gap, the better. So Sarah can just chill a little bit and not have to take the same level of risk on her lap. Get it to the final and get the job done there. Meanwhile, behind, yeah, it's a bit of a closer battle.
Yeah, it certainly is. You've got Laia Sands in the car just in front of Munnings. Munnings needs to try and close this gap down. This is the very rutted section. We saw Veloce and Christine GZ have her problem yesterday. The car went somersaulting, got just stuck into the sand, and it can really claim you.
Here comes Leduc down to the switch zone at the bottom of the hill. Going to be pretty much status quo is at the end of this one. 11.57, okay, 13.3. So let's see what it is once they get into the switch at the bottom of the hill. He's managed to take another couple of seconds out over that last sector. We'll get it now as Sands comes in. That will give us the true gap, if you like, as she comes into the switch zone. Looking up at my screen, 15.5 on the timing screens here in the commentary box. So Leduc has edged out 15.5, but it's only 1.4, and you can see the gap. It's nothing between these.
Yeah, the switch zone's so important as well for how you can approach this. Let's have another look at the start, because you can see Chip Ganassi get a slower start than anybody else on the left-hand side, but all of a sudden, they managed to do a slingshot.
I think Leduc just carries momentum. You know, if you look here, he probably hasn't lifted. The car only gets a little way sideways. He picks a lovely line in between the camel grass. Still, he's got his foot absolutely buried, just taking as much momentum as you can. Don't forget that Sands and Munnings would also have been side by side. They're looking at each other. They're trying to give each other a little bit of space, maybe a tiny little throttle lift here and there, and that made the difference. So Leduc managed to get the whole shot. Dust not bad this morning. I do think it actually looks drier in that rutted section where we saw the big roll yesterday. You can see the sand is collapsing a bit more, so that's maybe slightly less risky than it was, but the problem is in your head you're like, ooh, this is the bad bit. So you know, you have a little cheeky little lift and maybe lose some time. So Sarah Price is going to release the car first, bottom left of your screen. The American off-road expert driver going to be heading out of the switch zone with a 15-second lead.
Carlos Sainz is the man in the middle. El Matador will try and hunt her down. And then Timmy Hansen, 2019 World Rallycross champion, will be the third car out unless any of them have problems. And he will also have to go a-hunting in this second and final lap of semi-final 2.
Now, of course, they don't need, do they, to catch Sarah. What they need is to get out in front of... So basically, this is a two-car race for second. Yeah. If they can both catch Sarah, they can both go through. But there's an argument, Jenny, that they should catch Sarah as, you know, as a pair, they could both go through. But they're never going to think that. They're both going to be thinking only one of us is going to make it. And Sarah, with a 15-second lead, is well capable of holding these two off. So I think this is a proper fight between them for the last spot in the final.
Seen it change, by the way, in the Traction Challenge winner at the moment. X44 have taken the fastest sector time, so 5 points of additional bonus for the weekend at the moment would be going to them. Let's see if anyone else can challenge.
Oh,
that's a massive roll for Hansen. Oh, he hit the tuft of grass. It sent the car flicking over, and that That is absolutely gutting for Timmy.
I was hoping it was going to land on its wheels because it's not a hard impact. It wasn't a big shunt, it was just a bad bounce. The sand's come in through the window, and unfortunately Genesis Andretti United, that's the question answered, will not be in the final. So if you're Chip Ganassi Racing now, you get on the radio to Sarah and you say it's job done, you're in, just chill. And the same really for Carlos Sainz. He can just lift now and bring the car home. That's a real shame. It's a shame for us, obviously it's a shame for Andretti United, but I was looking forward to a mega battle between Hansen and Sainz. Timmy now climbing up through the passenger side of the car.
Oh, dear me. What a way to end your weekend. That is, I mean, we knew, didn't we? There were so many ruts in here. You have to be very careful with where you position the car, but there's nothing he could have done about that. It just flicked very unkindly. He's not hurt, which is the main thing. As you can see, Price getting caught up a little bit where we saw RXR getting caught up as well. So that's a real trap.
That's the same bounce that Arlen Kotlinski got, and I think that's a little bit of a sign that, you know, sometimes it's not in the driver's hands. There is Timmy out of the car. He's absolutely fine, but he will be very, very disappointed.
This was such a good weekend for them. It looked so positive. Rachel, their PR lady, heavily pregnant at home. I hope she's okay. She would have been watching that squealing at the TV, I'm sure.
Let's take another look at Timmy's incident. So look, he looks for an alternate line behind Sainz. He goes to the inside, but unfortunately, camel grass just limits out the front left suspension. The car bounces badly, and if that had come back on its wheels, Jenny, you see what I mean. There's no big impact at all. Here we are, look, you're on board. He slots out to the left. He maybe doesn't realise it's quite there, and over it goes. It's not a heavy impact, but it's on its side. Game over. There it is from the back of Carlos's car. And then the sand as the final insult, you know, pouring in through the side of the car. Here we go, watch on board with Timmy now. And there it is, door open and sand in. Yeah, cheers. That's an insult to injury, yeah.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it does take the pressure off of these two as they cruise round, because two go through, one goes out, so we know what that is. But Katie Munnings must be absolutely gutted, and it's a pretty unpleasant experience watching your fellow teammate rolling around in the sand in a car and an Odyssey 21.
I was looking forward to the race.
Yeah,
I really was. But there you go. Look, you know, the track is as much of a challenge as the race is. Timmy got a bad bounce. Sarah gets a bounce off that same rut that got Sebastian Loeb on day one, wasn't it? Who got a huge two-wheel moment there. Come on, Sarah, let's get this home. So she was 15 seconds up the road from Carlos Sainz. He's closed that down by about 8. The team have probably made her aware that she doesn't need to do anything too crazy. She's just got to get the car to the finish. She's got just the one jump to go. Sarah Price coming down the hill. Her and Carl Duke will be going through to the final for the second time in their Extreme E history. Let's hope they have a better run this time than they did last year. Brilliant job by Chip Ganassi Racing, and the Hummer EV are through to the final. Carlos Sainz crosses the line, and the Dakar legend with his teammate Leia Sands will also be up for the win here in round 1 of Extreme E.
Great stuff there. Well done to Ganassi, Chip Ganassi. They've battled hard to try and get some reliability in their Hummer EV, to get some luck as well, and you can see what it means to Sarah Price as she takes off her gloves, just does a little sigh of relief. They are through.
Relief, isn't it? Definitely, Jenny, is the word. Bang on the money.
Oof.
There it is, look, yeah, big sigh, big sigh. Faces the car forward, and one of the mechanics now will guide her back into the tent. No work, I mean, there is work to do on the car, but you know what I mean, don't you, Jenny? No major moments, no major dramas. This is a chill weekend for Chip Ganassi Racing compared to what they've had in the past.
Why would you say that? It's just mean.
Right, we're going to have a quick chat with Katie Munnings, who's down in the command centre for Andretti United. Katie, unlucky. We were looking forward to a great battle there, but a bad bounce for Timmy, and he's out fairly close to the start. Obviously, he looks okay, but you must be disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's always disappointing. We've had a good weekend up until now. You know, we finished qualifying in P2. Unfortunately, you know, it was tricky from the start for us. We chose our grid spots last night. We had first choice. We chose the same as Loeb and X44, and it didn't seem like the right choice for them or for us this time. So it was a kind of battle from there, and obviously he had a job to do. You know, it was only the top 2 that went through to qualifying, and these bumps out here are so unpredictable in the desert that it really could happen anywhere. So, yeah, glad he's okay, but really, really disappointing for the team.
Right, look, game over for you guys for this weekend, but obviously you bang on the pace. You know, it's a long season, and I'm sure you must be pleased to see how competitive you are and your great new colours on the car. Exciting season to come, you know, chin up.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we've always got to look at the positives as a team. You know, Timmy's an amazing driver, and you know, credits to him. He got the super sector as well this weekend, and he's fast. And this is motorsport. Sometimes it happens, and we'll have to take the positives and come back stronger next time.
Track's looking really tricky for everyone. Have you got your eye on a favourite or not? I think it's looking a bit more open this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, we thought that the spot that we chose for the grid play, for the point selection off the start would be the ideal one, but it doesn't look like it worked on either. It kind of closed in. We were expecting Bay 2 to go to the left of the mound, and they closed in onto our lane, so it made it very tight for us to make the first corner. So I think that was compromised. So I think it depends a lot on the grid play and your start place off the start. But yeah, the racing's been a lot closer this year, and it's really exciting to see that for the championship.
Thank you, Katie, for joining us. Much appreciated. Speak to you soon.
Well, what a race, what drama, and I feel so disappointed for Genesis Andretti United. It just, sometimes these weekends can be a little cruel.
I think we were just hoping, weren't we, for a really fun race that went right the way to the end. You know, we look at the start, the drivers that were in first of all. And then, of course, it was after the driver change, wasn't it, when Timmy jumped in and was so close behind. But look at that. That was Leduc in the Hummer EV. He used hyperdrive off the start, which got them that big gap. So we knew really it was likely to be a two-car fight because Sarah Price was so far ahead, and then this happens.
Yeah, they went out neck and neck, so you can just see they're together. Hansen was all over the back of him, and then poof, into that grass. It just tipped him over. So unlucky that the momentum of the car just didn't take him that little bit more, as you were saying in commentary, because he could have got going again potentially, but not to be for them. They were out. But finally, Chip Ganassi, yay!
Yeah, in the final again, first time since Sardinia. You know, good job for them. Carlos Sainz to the back as well.
Yeah, really good stuff for them. They'll be pleased, as will the Acciona Science team. So good stuff all around. Well done to them. Now, Extreme recently commissioned a report supported by Ernst & Young to measure its sustainability and outline its future strategy. So let's find out a little bit more.
As well as giving us some fantastic sporting action, Extreme E, of course, exists to help promote environmental sustainability and fight against climate change. The series was recently declared carbon neutral after its first season, thanks to a host of innovations. As well as racing fully electric vehicles, the cars are powered using hydrogen fuel cells, which utilise solar and water to create electricity. Operations are powered with the help of Second Life batteries. Equipment is transported by sea in the refurbished former Royal Mail ship, the St Helena, which provides a 75% reduction in emissions compared to air freight. And team personnel are limited to just 7 people, 2 drivers, 1 engineer and 4 mechanics. Extreme E has also offset its Season 1 carbon footprint by investing in environmental certificates for a wind farm in Patagonia, Argentina, which supplies 300 gigawatt hours of clean, renewable electricity to the grid. But there's more to be done, more innovations are planned. Stay tuned for details.
What tremendous action this desert backdrop has given us. It really is stunning to be here in NEOM and to see the cars in Saudi Arabia. I think this weekend has been one of the best in terms of action that we've seen so far.
Yeah, a couple of great semi-finals, crazy race, of course, still to come. I think what I really like, Jenny, is the fact that a few little driver changes and a new team, it's changed up the pace. And we know from last year that so many of the drivers got quicker and quicker and closer to the ultimate pace that now it's actually really hard to pick between the teams. And I'm loving that. When you get to the first round of a new season, you don't want someone to totally dominate it. So, you know, now I'm like, okay, who's going to win this? And I'm feeling pretty excited about the whole year, really.
Yeah, we've seen so much drama out there as well. Of course, the Hansen roll, the crazy race. What lies in store for us there? We've got Veloce, McLaren, Abt Cupra and JBXC, the 4 of them going head-to-head for that final place to see if they can win this the Desert X Prix.
Yeah, they'll be hoping, won't they, that they head back to the paddock with the win, not on the front of a forklift truck, as we've seen a couple of cars this weekend.
So you were going to say with the wing, the wing.
Yeah. Someone's heading back with the wing, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. You can see the sun there coming down. The desert sand here, deep red, can suck you in if you're driving along there, and then those beautiful sandstone rocks just waiting to snag your car as well. My, what drama we have on our way. This is great racing.
This is the opening round of Season 2 of Extreme E, a stunning desert setting which will challenge our teams, drivers and cars to the max. Welcome to beautiful NEOM in Saudi Arabia. I'm Andrew Coley. Alongside me is Jenny Gow. We'll be talking you through all the action as we head into our final races of the weekend. Down in the paddock, we have Laura Winter reporting. She'll also be speaking to all our runners and riders and getting right in amongst the action.
NEOM is a brand new location for Extreme E, with its jagged sandstone cliffs rising out of the rich red sand, and the message from the desert is clear. Unless we can reduce global warming, the deserts will continue to grow, biodiversity will be lost, and entire communities will be forced to move. We race with a purpose in Extreme E, but when we say race, we really mean it. Here is the story of our weekend so far.
Well, of course, we started with solo qualifying. Sebastian Loeb up on two wheels. He managed to get away with it. You'll see that not everybody did. This was Christine Gizzi on the very same corner. A few cars later, one of the ruts caught her out. Huge crash, and unfortunately a fractured foot means she wouldn't take any further part this weekend.
Yeah, the car unceremoniously taken away, but that left way for RXR once again. Christopherson teaming up with Arlen Kotlinski to go fastest. Good for them.
On to qualifying round 2, and this was in heat race format for the first time ever. Nasser Al-Attiyah made this brilliant pass on Carlos Sainz, ran a bit too deep on the exit, and then hammered into the side of the Acciona Sainz car. That left X44 to win the first race.
On to Heat 2, 5 cars as you can see. Oh my word, McLaren, welcome to the championship. They were all over the shop. When it came to Emma Gilmore, she couldn't get the car to switch back on, left a lot of room. RXR come down, but penalised by 17 seconds.
Yes, pit lane speeding and they dropped back, so not ideal for them. On to the semi-finals. Track cutting up again. This was brilliant where Tamara Molinaro tried to get past Christopherson. She couldn't. Ollie Bennett was then chasing on the second lap Sebastian Loeb, but he downed a flag, and that would be crucial. Mistake there for Arlen Kotlinski. It was all going on, Jenny.
Yeah, the car almost sucked into the sand there, and look at this, duking it out on those red clay. And you can just see the car swinging around all over the place for Arlen Kotlinski. Couldn't get it to settle. Bennett right up alongside, really giving everything. In the meantime, X44 clear and out front.
There were 700s between those two cars, but there was a penalty for Excite, so they would drop to the back of the pack.
The next semi-final was up. It was Sainz Acciona trying to chase down the Hummer EV of Chip Ganassi Racing, and then at the back, Andretti United. And look at them, they closed up, but then this happened.
So Timmy Hansen pulls out from behind Carlos Sainz, tries a move, but he's unsighted, hits a piece of that camel grass, and unfortunately the car ended up on its side. If it had ended on his wheels, maybe he would have made it through. But it's Kyle Leduc and Sarah Price who won that one, with Acciona Sainz in P2.
So let's have a look where that leads us. This is the ladder. Semi-final 1, done. We've seen X44 and RXR go through from that. Leduc and Sainz going through for Acciona Sainz and Chip Ganassi, and then the crazy race still to go. So you can see a final lineup ready and waiting for one more person.
And I think anyone who goes through from that crazy race is going to make that final very exciting indeed. You know, you really can't pick between the teams this weekend. Everyone is so quick.
Yeah, there's been some real talent out there. Crazy race still to come, as we say. They're going to join X44, RXR, Chip Ganassi Racing and Acciona Sainz. One final place in that to go.
So I think the biggest incident from qualifying was this. Nasser Al-Attiyah making a great pass at Sainz. Look, he runs wide. He desperately tries to pull back in. Knows he's going to miss the flag. Two wheels, bicycles into the side. Sainz wasn't very happy about that. You know, they had words afterwards.
Yeah, they almost went face to face, I think, apparently, to each other. It got very hostile. So we sent Laura Winter in there to find out exactly. I know. Welcome. What happened?
Carlos, a very difficult day yesterday, I know. We've heard of a heated exchange, shall we say, in the command centre. What was it you said? What was said to you?
No, you know, when something like that happens, it can happen to any of us. Normally, you come and say, sorry, You know, I try and I come in front of you, but then Nasser I think he said that the power steering was broken or something, but later on with the telemetry, I knew it was not the case. So it was, you know, a little bit funny, I will say, but yeah, this is what it is. Expensive, and you know, as I say, it can happen to anybody. But when you do a mistake like that, normally you come and say sorry.
And he didn't say sorry?
No, at the moment not.
What's your side of it? What was said to you? What did you say to Carlos?
No, I think it was a race, you know, and I get my line, you know, and I pass Carlos, and then I've been a little bit wide. It wasn't two-wheel. I cannot manage to come back, you know, in four-wheel, and then I miss the flag, and suddenly I get heat from my side, you know. If it's accident, I think he crashed our car, you know. And this was not my mistake because, okay, I will get penalty of the passing the flag, but I get hit, you know, in 150 kilometer an hour, you know. But okay, was a race, you know, and sorry what happened. I think we need to just keep going, and then we find ourselves in the steward, you know, and the decision, I respect the decision what I get, you know. Today just we are focusing for the crazy race. We like to be with the crazy race, you know.
Well, it's a slight difference of opinion. So, you know, Nasser says, well, I ran a bit wide, and when I came back in, Carlos hit me. Carlos says Nasser went wide, just came steaming back in, and he hit me. So that's drivers for you.
This is 10 years in the making, even more, basically, their whole Dakar career. They've had huge respect, but huge rivalry, and I think it's going to really boil over potentially in this championship. Tell you what, crazy race. I think it's time, isn't it?
Attention all teams, this is race control. Stand by for the start of the Desert X Prix. The crazy race is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
It is time to go racing, the crazy race. This is going to be a great clash. It's the Titans coming together. We have Veloce, McLaren, Abt, JBX in. Just to give you a little inkling, they thought when they were choosing their gate positions yesterday, they were doing the right thing. But today, it's all changed, isn't it, Andrew Coley?
Yep, surface is constantly changing in off-road racing. Kevin Hansen pulling his belts on. He's got a challenge on that right-hand side of the grid. We know we haven't seen that work for anybody so far. There's Jutta Kleinschmidt for Abt Cooper. She'll be handing over to Nasser Al-Attiyah. Looks like Tanner Faust is in the car first for, no, we're seeing two more announced. Well, off the line, other way, on the outside. Bad traction there for Veloce, didn't quite get away. Kevin Hansen got a great start on the inside line. Gets just in front of Jutta Kleinschmidt. Kleinschmidt going to try and respond around the outside. It is Gilmore in the car from McLaren. Gilmore drops back into fourth. They come in super close together. Woolridge maybe going to get the whole shot. Bad bounce, Veloce machine. Runs wide over the grass, just holds on. McLaren have gone out super wide. Woolridge still on the inside line, but has lost some pace. Kevin Hansen with a bad bounce now gets the car in. Over the bump goes Jutta Kleinschmidt. Emma Gilmore trying to come around the outside. Gilmore going to get two with one move. Absolutely brilliant for the New Zealander. Slots into P2 from P4. What a great move by Emma Gilmore, up to second.
Absolutely brilliant. So we've got Kevin Hansen out in front for JBXE. Gilmore in that McLaren car just trying to come up. I don't know if Veloce have picked up a problem from that very aggressive bounce. They seem to be going backwards. Had to rebuild the car after the damage yesterday. Wasn't too badly altered, but might be enough. And then you can see the Abt Cooper car at the back with Kleinschmidt trying to claw back some time.
I think Veloce have gone. I think it's Abt Cooper in P3, but it's hard to tell in the dirt, isn't it? I think Veloce have gone. So Veloce looked like they pulled off the side of the course. Brilliant racing here in NEOM. Up into the braking zone now comes Kevin Hansen. Let's look back. We'll try and figure out just where they are. We'll see as they come through the gates. Gilmore is right there, just 3.3 back. Oh, two wheels for Kevin in the dirt there. How far back are Abt Cooper and Kleinschmidt? There, you're on board with Emma. She goes through the deeply rutted section. So Woolridge looks like he might still be going. They're showing plus 8.74, but he ran really wide in the back of our shot onto that straight, and it looked like he was pulling off the track, so maybe a problem from that big bounce.
Yeah, so you can see Hansen out in front. Gilmore, they've used their hyperdrive maybe in the last section, and then the App Cooper of Kleinschmidt just trying to claw back time. Kleinschmidt, Dakar legend, 2001 winner. She knows the sand really well. What can she do here? JBXE, though, out in front at the moment with Hansen. Very assured drive right now. He's got a gap of just over 4 seconds to the McLaren.
They had a rough day yesterday, didn't they? Broken drive shaft. Molly really didn't get to show the pace we saw her show last year. Molly Taylor, Kevin's teammate. You know, if Kevin brings this in the lead, we know that Molly was very, very hard to beat last year, but she is going to be going up against the likes of Tanner Faust and Nasser Al-Attiyah as well. So expect this to be a very, very good race if the gaps are still like this at the end of the run.
We did see from Al-Attiyah yesterday, he was going for it. He was slightly on the line of where you would call fair racing potentially, but you can guarantee he will come into this championship and set it ablaze in a desert which is kind of his stomping ground. But that is a great lead at the moment for Kevin Hansen. JBXE to hand over to Molly Taylor, our reigning champion, who's moved teams. Slightly surprising, she's gone from RXR across to Jenson Button. Those two know each other quite well, don't they, Rosberg and Button?
Woolridge still going now. He's 40 seconds down. You can see his throttle trace at the bottom of the screen is really low, so there may well be a problem with that car. Everyone else was 100% throttle. There he is, 40 back. Just 9 seconds between Hansen and Gilmore, and then only 3.6 seconds now between Gilmore and Kleinschmidt. So those cars are going to come in super close together. Al-Attiyah and Faust could potentially leave the switch zone side by side. They're going to be super close. Gilmore coming in out that rutted, long left-handed corner now. We saw problems yesterday trying to hold on to the McLaren machine. Oh, there in the background, Kleinschmidt comes in fully lit. Sideways down the hill. Has she gone? Did she miss the flags? Did she miss the gate in the background? The tyre trace suggests, but I don't know if that was branding or gates. Kevin Hansen comes in now. Gilmore uses a hyperdrive up the hill to just try and keep a decent gap towards the finish line. But Kleinschmidt coming in hot behind, so JBXE are in first. McLaren come in second and App Cooper in third. There's only about 14 seconds between those three cars.
And remember, this is a battle to try and get into the final. Only one team goes through, so there is a lot to play for right now, and getting the switch imperative.
So Kleinschmidt made a mistake in that super fast corner, but it's whether or not the second set of flags were just branding flags or whether they were actually one of the gates, whether or not she missed it. They might have been the end of the Continental Traction Challenge. This was the start. Gilmore, watching the background, hasn't had a great start. Woolridge gets this huge jump, which is where I wondered, did he then break something on the car? He comes back in from the side. Kevin Hansen with a clear hole shot, but watch Gilmore here on the alternate line in the McLaren around the outside. Keeps the throttle in through here, despite being pretty sideways. Kleinschmidt looks up the inside of the Veloce machine, and Emma goes right round the outside. So as I say, I wonder if the Veloce machine was already damaged there, but Gilmore's carried so much speed. It was a brilliant pass, Jenny.
So Hansen will transfer over to Molly Taylor, as you can see, going on now. She hasn't even got her race overall sorted yet because it's such a late deal to be done. Kleinschmidt to Al-Attiyah, Gilmore to Tanner Faust. McLaren brand new in this championship, and Woolridge will hand over to our newbie 20-year-old Norwegian rallycross driver, Hedda Hossa.
Kevin Hansen lying on the floor, looks really winded.
Wow.
I don't know what he's done.
Did he land, unfortunately, when he got out the car or something?
I don't know, we didn't see. So Kevin Hansen lying in the switch zone, super out of breath, it seems.
Well, you can just see Veloce coming in the background, but Taylor is going out now, and she will take the lead of this crazy race. 1 place between them all.
Tanner Faust leaves the switch zone. Al-Attiyah will follow very closely indeed. The Dakar legend looks across, releases the car from its box. There's a second between them at the very most when they leave. They were so spectacular, both these drivers yesterday, both with so much experience in off-road, but with so little experience in Extreme E. What can they do? Can they close down on the reigning champion, Molly Taylor, who switched teams to JBXE? This is a battle royale in NEOM for the last place in the final. There is Molly Taylor up at turn 1 or turn 2, the left-hander, and the gap is 12.45 back to Tanner Faust. This is on.
Yeah, we will keep on watching that gap, and you have two very aggressive drivers in Tanner Faust, who comes from Top Gear US. He's driven in everything when it comes to a competitive nature, but not in Extreme E. This is his first race. Al-Attiyah is a legend of Dakar. He has raced the very best there and won this year. And just look at the gap. Look at the 3 cars. Look at the distance.
So Molly's got the most experience, obviously, in these cars, but she had a shocking day yesterday. Faust and Alatia were taking huge risks. Yeah, they haven't paid the price for those risks yet. You know, Molly had a couple of rolls last year. She knows what it's like if you get a bad bounce. Look what happened to Timmy today. Faust and Alatia don't have that fear of the car yet. You know, they're just out there getting lit and getting after it. So 9.5. Faust has eaten into the gap already, and Alatia's going with him. He's only 3 seconds back. Late on the brakes now. Up in front, that's the McLaren machine. You're on board with Alatia as he bounces the App Cupra into that braking zone. Couldn't be closer. 7 seconds now, the gap. Faust has carved another 2.5 off.
Yeah, crikey, that is a really scary bend to come round 9. You've just got to hold on. Car goes up on 2 wheels. Now ahead, that's the danger zone. It's where we've seen the life sucked out of these cars as it hits into the sand and holds on. Looks like Alatia's taking that wide line. Can he keep on going and keep the pace down this hill? You can see the two of them so close. They've taken the same line, following each other one after the other.
Absolutely brilliant place to go racing. NEOM has provided so much great action. Down the hill now, Tanner Faust has cut the gap down to 4.6 seconds. Alatia is going with him. He's just 3 behind. Looks like they've all got their hyperdrives left on the left-hand side of the screen. Faust is sighted set. Oh, in the background, the car bounces high. Now he's right with Molly Taylor. Sideways in the background as well comes to Alatia.
This is one of the sections where you can make up so much time if you take the right line. We've seen lots of variant lines here. So Taylor out in front, Faust closing down. Alatia, you can just see the distances being eaten up. There's nothing between them now. Faust is on full attack. 22, car number 22. That's Molly Taylor under investigation for speeding in the switch zone.
Oh, that could be a disaster if they get a penalty now. Taylor runs wide, Faust is on the inside. Expect them to use their hyperdrive. They're both hit at the same time now. Tanner Faust trying to close down the gap to Molly Taylor in front. He'll know she's used hyperdrive. He goes left, she goes right, looking for an alternate line. How long are they going to dare to stay on the throttle for? We're behind. Alatia hasn't used his hyperdrive. Is he going to try and hold on close? He does now. Faust wins the inside line.
Oh, there's no way through up that section. It's very skinny in the thread. Oh, he's gone wide. It's gone down the inside line. McLaren gets past him. What a place to overtake. I didn't think it was possible. There it is. But coming down here, can they hold the line? We know this is rutted badly, and they are all under pressure. 3 great drives. Molly kicking up all over the place at the moment.
Molly goes for the low line now. She's going to make it through the gate. Has to lift. Alatia passes her as well. Tanner Faust now with a clear line. Molly maybe going to drop down to the lower end. They might get a speeding penalty anyway, side by side, but only the winner is going to go through.
Just one of these cars is due to make it through to the final. Molly Taylor, we're on board with her, but look, it's Faust who pirouettes over the final podium place. He's got to get through over the line, and it looks like he's done it. What a drive from McLaren. Their first race weekend, and they have got through to the final. It was the App Cooper in second place, JBXC coming in third, and Tanner is over the moon. There is Lena Gage celebrating. Zach Brown will be apoplectic. He has come in, and what a result for them.
Look at that, Emma Gilmore hugging it out in the background. She had such a terrible day yesterday, just took it easy on the first run, then the car wouldn't start. Tanner Faust crosses the line and just shouts, yes, and that's exactly what I was thinking. An absolutely brilliant race. They did well to close Taylor down. She's the reigning champion. She was going very quickly. Faust found that way past up the hill. It was just about how long he stayed on the throttle for. Their hyperdrives had been expended miles before, and it was just, yes, look at that. Full stoke from Tanner.
It's so nice to be able to see them coming into the paddock, the reaction of all of their team. They are so excited, and who can blame how brilliant that was. Tanner Faust, absolutely brilliant. Emma Gilmore set it up, and what a hunt down that was. The second lap was just phenomenal.
Oh, how good was that? How good was that? And how excited are you to see McLaren in the first final for the first time at their first attempt from the crazy race as well, you know, odds against it, and they made it through.
And they have such a deficit in data and information. Brilliant.
So we're going to have a chat with Emma Gilmore, who's down in the command centre, and I imagine is feeling pretty excited about the results. Emma, that's more like it. We spoke last night, and I don't think yesterday was your favourite day ever, and I suspect today might be.
Oh, it was such a tough day yesterday for the team. Everyone's put so much effort in, and it was really disappointing with the problems we had. So absolutely stoked for us to get through to the final today. It's awesome.
Well done. I mean, great drive by you up in turn 2. You didn't look like you got the greatest start, and then you went P4 to P2 round the outside. That's how we send it.
I don't know how it worked. It worked. That's all that matters.
And what about Tanner's pass on Molly up the hill? It was a drag race across the amazing floor of the desert here in NEOM, and somehow he stuck it up the inside.
Tanner's doing a phenomenal job, you know, being his first time racing here this weekend. I mean, it's such a challenging series, and he's really he's lapping it up. His descriptions afterwards are always hilarious, but no, he's doing an amazing job.
Well done, the both of you. I think you better get back to your pit tent and go celebrate with the guys and get yourselves ready for your first final ever with McLaren on your first race weekend. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Delighted to see her smiling, so happy. What a great success for McLaren to come into this championship. I mean, they're such a well-known brand. Tanner Faust there looking really excited, and NEOM is just providing us such a fantastic base for this racing. It has been utterly breathtaking. Tina and Lena Gade, their race engineers, and look at this. What a beautiful backdrop in NEOM, Saudi Arabia. The first time Extreme E has come here, and motorsport is now such a haven for Saudi Arabia, but look at that.
Yeah, absolutely stunning place, isn't it? It's going to be a hub for sports and tech and all sorts in future, and it's just great to be along here. I must say I'm enjoying the track layout this year. It's just closer racing, and yeah, it's been great so far. As it's still got the final to come, of course. Find out who the winner is of the first round of Extreme E this year, Season 2. I'm excited for Season 2 as well now, Jenny, you know?
No, we've got some really, really good drivers out there. Great teams, engineers, mechanics, all coming together. And look at this. The results of the crazy race. A disappointment, I think, for Veloce. They suffered, I think, out there heavily at that start line incident. Third place, it was JBXC. Second at Cupra. And first, of course, McLaren XE.
There we go, first Extreme E race from McLaren XE, first final. Emma, I'm going to come to you first. That move around the outside to overtake two cars, come on, that was pretty special, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think Tanner summed up perfectly in terms of, you know, you have a plan until the first punch gets thrown, and yeah, it was a bit like that. It was like, yeah, we'll end up here, and it worked out perfectly. So yeah, it was great. It was all on there. Tanner was in my ear encouraging me. It was, yeah, it was a real team effort.
And Tanner as well, just come in. Brilliant from you just to get through that final lap and get over the line.
I'm so proud to make the final. I'm stoked for the whole team. I mean, you wouldn't believe the work that goes in behind the scenes just for some short amount of track time. So to be able to kind of pull it off, get in the final, there's a lot of teams here that haven't made the final in a year of competing. So I think it's a big accomplishment for the McLaren team. So I'm super proud.
Zach, your two drivers here, one race, one final. Not bad, eh?
No, this is great. This is why you need two great drivers. I mean, the passes they made were awesome. Mark and the whole team have developed and built a great car. So yeah, to be in the finals in our first race is great. So it's all to play for now.
It is indeed. When we came in, we heard you debriefing, talking about the different lines. So we'll leave you to continue doing that. Thank you both so much. Well done.
Now, championships like Extreme E don't happen by accident. You always need a bit of a mastermind behind it. The mastermind behind this is Alejandro Agag, and it's not his first rodeo. He was also, of course, the mastermind behind Formula E. But it seems he's not done there.
I'm here in the paddock with founder and CEO Alejandro Agag. Alejandro, wow, here we are. Season 2 is about to begin. Before we look ahead, let's take a look back. Last year, you delivered a groundbreaking new concept. Fantastic debut season with worthy champions. How proud are you looking back?
Well, really happy that we did Season 1. It was almost a miracle against a lot of complications, COVID, you know, going to these venues, creating a new racing format, creating this new also, you know, gender equality concept with men and women, female drivers, male drivers. And I think we're so proud of the first season. But yeah, first season is behind us, fantastic championship, great champions, and now we're beginning the second one.
We are here in Saudi Arabia for the start of Season 2. What do we have in store this year?
I think Season 2 is going to take Extreme E to a new level. I think Season 2 is going to use all the lessons we learned on Season 1. On the race format, we couldn't do any testing before Season 1, so almost every race was a test. But now we come with a lot of knowledge to make these races a lot more exciting, a lot more competitive. And, you know, we have also new teams. We have McLaren joining, which is a great addition. So 10 teams in the championship, new drivers, new venues. Some of the new venues, even here in Saudi, we're in a different location as the one we were last year. But then we will move on to Sardinia, where we've been, Senegal, but then new locations in Chile and in Punta del Este in Uruguay. So an amazing season ahead of us.
An amazing season indeed ahead, but the Extreme family is expanding, isn't it? Tell us what you've got in store in the future.
We're going to announce this weekend the first ever hydrogen competition. Hydrogen power cars will be racing in the same weekend as Extreme E. We're going to call this championship Extreme H, and it's going to be a platform to showcase hydrogen cars in all these difficult terrains, to showcase the technology, to give a platform to hydrogen in the world of motor racing. That is going to be Extreme H, and is coming soon.
Extreme H coming soon. So exciting. Thank you so much to you, Alejandro, and enjoy the first race of the season.
Thank you. Have fun.
Good stuff. Always fascinating, isn't it? I wish I had a mind like his. I really
so do I. I'd like one successful business. He seems to have like 2 or 3. But in all seriousness, I'm really excited. Extreme H, another way of powering these fantastic cars. He's right. We need more than just electric to get the job done. And, you know, it's more racing. Who doesn't like more racing?
Talking about racing, should we do some more?
I think so.
Yeah, let's do some more then. It's time for the final. It's time to get the action underway. It's time for 5 cars to take on this NEOM course, and I can't wait.
Now, of course, at every event for Extreme E, the fans are able to vote, aren't they, for their favourite team. And as you can see, their favourite team was actually Abt Cupra, but unfortunately, Abt Cupra didn't make it through to the final. So this is the point at which they will donate their sand. There's Alatia donating just a tiny bit to Acciona Sainz.
Yep, they got a huge 36% Abt Cupra, so they chucked that all in. And there we go, a hug from Sarah Price, thank you very much. That gives them the first pick when it comes to the grid slots, and they went bang in for the middle slot.
I'm excited to see what they can do. You know, that everybody knows. I think it will be a very popular win if it's the Hummer EV and Chip Ganassi Racing, because of how close they came last year. Everybody knows they deserve one, and I think it's pretty cool that NASA gave them the votes.
Yeah, there's a few interesting rivalries being set up for this season, I think. Emma Gilmore, McLaren, the last pick, but I don't think that's a bad place to be either. It's set up for a fascinating start. Just look at that. That is the grid selection. Thanks for grid play.
Well, here we go. The first final of the 2022 Extreme E season starts right here to determine the winner of the Desert X Prix, our first race in this second season of this incredible series on what has been a brutal, unforgiving course, and we've seen spectacular racing so far. Much more to come. A pretty perfect start so far, it must be said, for X44 and Sebastian Loeb here, 9-time World Rally Champion, of course. Well, Sebastian, perfect so far. Time to continue that into the final, isn't it?
Exactly. We will try, but final is always quite tough. We have a few fast drivers with us, so I will try my best for sure. Trying to get a good start, that's really important here. And then try to push. So no precise plan, just trying to push.
Thank you very much. Full send, I've no doubt. Thank you to Sebastian Loeb, absolute legends of the world of motorsport right here. We move through McLaren XE, their very first season. Zach Brown, their CEO, is here as well. First season, first final. Tanner Faust, how are you feeling? Sebastian Loeb, Carlos Sainz in here, Johan Kristoffersson in the mix as well later on. It's a pretty epic lineup, isn't it?
It's pretty awesome, right? I mean, it's just cool to be lined up next to these guys. I've been big fans of a lot of them for a long time. I've competed a very little bit with Loeb in rallycross, but for McLaren to make it to the final, which is very difficult to do in this series in the first round, I'm really proud of that. It almost felt like a final win, but now we push the reset button, try to do something like that again.
Thank you very much. Best of luck. And come with me, we'll head down to the third car and to Sarah Price of Chip Ganassi, fan favourite, team favourite coming into this, weren't you? You got all the votes, chosen that middle line. What do you make of your grid position?
You know, that's obviously we won the grid play thanks to the teams supporting us. That's super awesome. And yeah, I wanted to choose spot 3. I felt like it was a good bet, good line selection, the best there possibly is. Deep sand, so it's just a matter of reaction time and getting a good jump.
Thank you. Best of luck. Ooh, I knew that would happen at some point. We'll move on to Rosberg X Racing and Michaela. Difficult weekend so far, 17-second penalty, and then of course some difficulties in the semi-final. Reset now, isn't it, Michaela?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we know that we have a strong pace, and it's gonna be. I mean, it's the final. Everybody wants to give everything, so anything can happen in the final. Yeah, we're gonna give our best.
Thank you very much. Best of luck. and a man who barely needs an introduction, Carlos Sainz of Acciona Sainz. Carlos, a tricky weekend so far for you. I think he's listening to his team radio at the moment as things stand. A tricky weekend for you so far. Time to put all that to bed and send it here in the final, isn't it?
I cannot hear you. Sorry.
How are you feeling?
The feeling is good. Yeah, you know, happy to reach the final. Now everything is possible. We will try to do a good job, and we will see. It's going to be very tight.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Carlos all ready for action at the back, even if he can't hear Laura. Laura, you know, finally managed to bang her head on the door. We've all been there, the old gull-wing doors. But she started it out, didn't she? Great to have Laura Winter along with myself, Andrew Coley, and Jenny Gow, as always.
Look.
Looking forward to another season. Yeah, camels out in the desert. They'll stay off the track for us. Yeah, who'd have thought? Look at that. The incline on this track is unbelievable. I'm loving it.
Let's remind you of the format then. What happens in the final? We get one car with a driver, goes out and does a lap. There's 5 of them that will start this race, as you can see on the lineup. And then, well, switch, do another lap, and whoever can bring the home first will win.
Attention all teams, this is race control. Stand by for the start of the Desert X Prix. The final is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
Yes, prepare to race. Get your helmets ready. That's right, Chip Ganassi Racing. You need a little bit of luck, but maybe, just maybe, this is the moment. You can see all 5 teams. Command Centre fairly unique. They're all huddled up next to each other. They can look into their opponent's eyes. The driver, the second driver to take the wheel, standing there, and everybody else in the car.
Christine Giese actually told Laura off the record earlier this weekend, but we're going to tell you anyway, and I know she'll be listening in the paddock, that the command centre makes her really nervous. She said the music and the lights and the fact everyone's there, but it is, the tension builds. You know, that moment where you're putting your helmet on, where you're looking at the final bits of data, you know what your strategy is, you know what you want to do, but everything is a little bit in the lap of the gods off the start line. So, yeah, here we go.
Andrew, who do you think's got the best starting position in your mind?
It's so hard to tell. You know, it was the right-hand side of the grid previously, which is where Sainz and RXR are. Look, it's less cut up. The middle of the grid they didn't fancy, but then we were talking to Katie Munnings earlier, and she said that side of the grid didn't work for them today where it did yesterday. Yeah, it's a melee on the run-up to turn 1 anyway. Who knows?
1 minute until race start. So we have McLaren, a new entry on the left-hand side as we look at it there. X44 next to Chip Ganassi Racing. They need a little bit of luck. Then you've got RXR, our reigning champions from last year, and Acciona Sainz to the far right. They're taking a breath, aren't they, Andrew?
Yeah, they are. It's that final moment. There comes a point where you're just before the start and you don't want to blink. So you have those deep breaths, you pull those belts on tight, you focus on the lights, you blink a few times to make sure you don't have to blink again, and then you wait for the green.
So it is Faust, Loeb, Price, Arlen Kotelinski and Sainz, a class field going to be out there competing for the Desert X Prix, a first win of the second season of this championship waiting. This is Extreme. This is what we're waiting for. This will be great racing, we hope. All eyes on the lights. And off they go. We are in green. Lots of wheel spin dust coming up. It's X44 taking an early lead, but look onto the right-hand side. It's Acciona Sainz taking on RXR. They seem 3 of them to be level, and 3 into 1 game might not work. Acciona Sainz and Carlos Sainz is taking the lead. What happens is he goes tight around the inside of this bend. He's okay. They've all managed to stay the course, but look at this melee behind Acciona Sainz. There's 3 cars. They're all trying to fight for the same piece of turf. X44, RXR, and the McLaren team go round, but they're all behind Acciona Sainz. Carlos Sainz has had an amazing start.
Absolutely brilliant by Sainz. Took that long load ray around the outside to turn 1. Thought he might get past. Yeah, the great start anyway, but brave enough just to stay there. He knew he'd get good exit speed. Now everyone behind is him in the dust. Look, oh, in the background, massive crash. A huge crash. It's McLaren. So Tanner Faust just rolled out contention at the first time they made it into the final. It was Dusty. There he is. The American's okay, he's biting on the old sand, the screen's out of the car, but Tanner Faust is out at turn 1. Carlos Sainz at the end of the straight, up close behind is X44 with Sebastian Loeb. And the dust in the background, hard to tell what happened.
Oh, disaster for McLaren. They were going so fast. Hopefully we'll get a replay in a minute. Hopefully Tano's fine. He looked to be. But out in the lead, it's Acciona Sainz. How long will they be able to hold up, though? Sebastian Loeb is right on two wheels as he comes around this very rutted place. He's losing the back end of that car as well. The 9-time World Rally champion is trying to get onto the back. And what's happened there? That's maybe contact between McLaren then and RXR. Maybe they were going for an overtake, and that's what's tipped him over. We'll find out.
Yeah, the rear cowling is missing off the back of the Rosberg X Racing machine, so Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski in that. This is the big bump. Look at the alternate line that's taken around the outside there to try and avoid that. We've seen people get really bogged down in that earlier on in the weekend. So Arlen-Kotlinski is 10 seconds back. Then Sarah Price looks like she's only a further 3 seconds back, according to our splits at the bottom of your screen. That gives you a good idea of what it can be like. The dust has been good this weekend. It hasn't been too bad. There are just certain sections on the track where you have to watch out for it. When you're on the heavy sand, you can see it drops more quickly.
So look, a little bit of windscreen wiper fluid going on there, which is a brave move, because actually it can mean that the sand can stick to the windscreen and make it even harder, but he's chosen a good time to do it. This is a beautiful flowing section of the track where you can really benefit from the line. Look, there is Tanner Faust, little bits of McLaren car strewn across the desert. A really disappointing start to this competition for them. They were doing so well this weekend.
Look, I'm gutted for Faust, but he's shown how absolutely rapid he is. So has Emma Gilmore. They did a brilliant job to get from the crazy race to this. The start didn't go their way. They were caught in the dust at the back. These things happen, but I'm so pleased to have them along. Here we go. Dropping back into the rutted section, coming up towards the end of the lap now. Here comes Sainz and X44 now 3 seconds back.
Yeah. Just look, trying to close that gap. It seems fairly consistent at the moment. Just come down to 2.6 seconds now, that gap. 2.3 seconds. So Loeb is on a mission. This is the most challenging point of the track that we've seen so far. Really rutted. We've seen a lot of cars come a cropper. Christine GZ, we wish her well. A fractured foot from spinning the car at that point in her Veloce. But look, they're coming around to the end of this first lap.
Loeb now closer than he has been to Sainz. So Sainz takes the low line that we saw Christopherson take. Loeb has taken the high line. We know it's pretty similar in terms of pace. Whereabouts they're going to merge up at the top of the hill. Sainz should be through there already. X40, there he is, just in front. So the gap's 2.13 as they come down to the switch zone. They'll go as late as they can on the brakes. The nose of the Sainz car goes in. He was late on the brakes there, Jenny. I'm not sure he had the speed off before he got in. In the background over the crest comes Arlen-Kotlinski for RXR. Where is Sarah Price? How far back are they? So Sarah Price... Where is she?
There she is. She's coming down
there
now, but what's happened to them? They just didn't seem to have pace off the start line either, so maybe a problem. We will find out, but they're into the switch zone. Bumps around at the back of there. The Hummer EV just slows. You can see the lights across the front. Behind them, it's RXR. And then you've got the two cars of Acciona Sainz and X44, and there is a red flag. So a red flag because of that McLaren crash. So we neutralise the race at this point. They have done one lap at the moment. Acciona Sainz with a great start, leading the way.
Okay, well, I'm surprised it's a red flag because the McLaren is a long way off the line and Tanner is out of the car. So for me, the race could have continued, but they have to make a decision based on safety, and you know, we're not there. It's not our job, Jenny. So, but I'm surprised. I thought they'd let it continue.
Whereas I, on the other hand,
you thought it would be red flag.
Well, expecting a red flag because we're chalk and cheese in these.
Well,
sort
you know,
of things.
the track's about 500 metres wide, so you know we're all right. It's not a car in the wall in Monaco, is it? I think there was plenty of room to get through, and Tanner was already quite a long way off to the left of track, to the right of our screen.
Oh, so there's Tanner. You just feel for him, don't you? Because he sat there thinking, what happened? And we want to know what happened as well, because we haven't seen it yet.
I'll tell you who else I feel for here, Jenny, is if they do what I think they'll do, which is a one-lap race, is Acciona Sainz and X44 worked really hard there to get a gap. And then at the handover, you know, that's your cushion. That's your story as to how long you can hold on for. So if they do a line start and send everybody off again, you know, they've lost that advantage.
Sebastian Loeb still sitting in the car. He was the first driver. He will hand over to Gutierrez at some point. He hasn't got out quite yet, and I think he's probably a little bit frustrated with the fact that it's gone this way. You can see Carlos Sainz there.
He looks
also
way more frustrated. This is, you know what I mean? Look at the, okay, here's Tanner, right? Watch in the background. It was a long shot, and you'll see what I mean about him being a fair way off. He's in P5 at the moment. There it is. Oh, 3
or 4. I think he's come together
yeah,
with the back of Rosberg. They've got into that gate and clipped each other. I would imagine that Faust has gone into the back of the RXR car with Arlen Kotelinski?
You see what I mean about it? It's a long way off. Now, the one reason they may have red flagged it is if they feel that Tanner, you know, needs some medical attention. But he was sitting out the car. I'm sure he's fine, but that's not to say he won't have hurt. Here's the rear shot from RXR, I think. So dust flying up. Vision looks okay at this point. Now it's a little bit trickier, and now it's really hard. Really hard. Where does Fausto pit? There he is. Yeah, you were bang on the money, Jenny. Absolutely.
And roll, and that is awkward. There are bits of McLaren and the fibre that they're using all over the place. This is on board with Tanner Faust, so you can see he's trying to get past Arlen Kotelinski in the RXR car.
That's up at turn 2, so you got the right, then the long left. Now we've got a long blast across before they hook right to come into the next quick section. Look, he pulls across to the right. Oh.
Just no vision, huh?
There must be something. You don't. Yeah, you could hear Tanner in the car. You don't roll the car like that from the contact. The car has rolled because of something he's hit on the ground.
Yeah, he's rebuffed onto something, hasn't
exactly.
he? Hit some of the tuft or whatever and then gone. So this is a better angle. So you can see the McLaren is the 4th car. Thank you very much for that. We can see the graphic. And they've come around this corner. You can see the cars in front slipping and sliding. There's a lot of dust. And he must have just been blindsided, crashed into the back and then been diverted off, as you say, into something that's caused the car to do that barrel roll.
Okay.
Well, that's not ideal.
No, it's not. And I say it's just hard, I think, on the guys who were out front because they've now lost that advantage. It's line start for your second driver, isn't it? I think we're going to be able to have a chat with Emma Gilmore in the command centre from the sounds of things. There is Emma now. It's all lit up red down there for obvious reasons. Emma, a disaster at the start of the final for Tanner. He's out of the car and sitting on the floor. He looks like he's okay, but obviously you're going to want to get him checked over. I know you'd be disappointed, but what do you know your end?
Yeah, all we know is that in the dust he couldn't see anything, and yeah, he got pushed wide and then caught out with the camel grass. So I mean, it is treacherous out there, and it is a bit of a game of chance at times. So yeah, unfortunately we got caught out. So yeah, he looks okay, but I'm sure we'll get him checked out and make sure, yeah, he's okay.
You could see obviously he wanted to make passes, he wanted to get further up the field, didn't he? He's got to follow on quite closely. We're looking at pictures of the car now stricken out in the desert. They're picking up the bits and dragging it away. You've got to go for it, haven't you, Emma? You know, you win some, you lose some. This isn't the way you would have wanted to lose it, I know, and there's a bit of work for the team to do now, but you've got to go for it.
Yeah, it's the nature of this racing. It was the final, you know, you've just got to go for it, as you say, and unfortunately that's motorsport, isn't it? It's the highs and the lows, and, you know, just gutted for the team for everyone's hard work.
Okay, I bet you are. Well, look, don't be too downhearted. You guys have shown such great pace this weekend. You know, there's a huge McLaren family out there who are supporting you guys, and I know there'll be, you know, New Zealanders, Americans, you know, lots of people are rooting for you, and we were so pleased to see you go through from the crazy race. So, safe journey home, and yeah, give our best to Tanner, please.
Thank you.
No worries, Emma. No worries.
Oh, it's so tough, isn't it? And that, I think, is why we all love racing, isn't it? Because you do get those tremendous highs and then you get those sinking, plunging lows where you just think, why? Why me? What did I do? What did I have to do? Now, we're going to go back down to the pit lane because Carlos Sainz is with Laura Winter. Let's see. I'm not envying her right now, but she's going to get a microphone and ask him the all-important questions.
Carlos, a brilliant start for you. I know you wish Tanner all the best, but you must be frustrated now that actually it's reset on the start line. Lia's got to do it all over again.
Yeah, we will see what is the decision now. A pity because everything was working fine, but yeah, what can you do? We will see what's happening.
Are you happy with your lap?
Yeah, I think it was really good. Good start and good lap. The conditions are really not so nice. Certain places really rough, but yeah, no problem.
And a word for Lia. I'm sure she can maybe hear you in the car there from the big screens across here.
Yeah, we will see. I will watch.
Thank you very much, Carlos. Well done to you.
So not so bad. She did all right. He did all right. He did do a really good lap, and I do feel slightly disappointed for him that all that hard work, he'll have to give the car... Oh, whoops. There we go. It's down. It's right side. Yeah, he's going to have to give possession of the car over to Lia Sands, and she's going to have to go out there and try and retain their lead. So exciting times, and the cars... They look great, don't they? The X44, both of those gull wings open, ready to soar like a bird. Will they soar themselves into a race win? That's the question.
Let's take another look at the start. They look great except for the McLaren and the RXR, don't they, right now, which aren't looking quite so
Ugly
tiny.
ducks.
It was, so look how even it was. So McLaren at the back of the pack here, that was Faust obviously trying to find a way through. Sainz jumps out wide and blocks off X44's load, which is great. RXR, Arlen Kotlinski tries to shut the door. Faust look is coming through the camel grass and has to slot in behind, but Sainz, having got that good start, stuck it out in the ruts and carried on all the way through, and it was Sarah Price actually who ended up down in P5 after, you know, a fairly hectic start.
Yeah, it's a strange one there. The Hummer didn't seem to be able to keep up with everybody else, but this is the moment of impact. So you can see Acciona Sainz in the lead, and then woof, that big cloud of dust behind them as the sand rocks and rolls up. Contact into the back of RXR.
What is it? Papaya, the colour?
Papaya orange, very good, yeah.
Well, that's the only reason I knew it was Tanner. So if it was that far in the distance, you know, if you look at the RXR and the Hummer EV, those colours in the distance are a little bit harder to pick out, and yeah, it's a shame. Obviously, the most important thing, we hope Tanner's okay. Not seen that shot at the start before from the side, gives you a better idea of that crest.
Gonna say this must be the drone footage that has been so impressive. So Sarah Price and the Hummer just trying to come up, but she chooses a very wide line. Now that worked sometimes, but not at that point in time. Then the McLaren goes wide as well to try and find some free air. And we will see points of impact if the drone keeps going then, because you can see Acciona Sainz out in front, loads of sand coming up, and boof, that's exactly where it happens and rolls to the left. And you can see they do have to red flag that because it's not offline enough. We couldn't tell from that angle, could we, at all?
No, I'm with you.
Now, they could shift the entire course, but I think at this point that wouldn't be a good idea.
No,
so red flag.
I'm with you. You know, that's kind of the situation, is it, where you'd almost like a yellow flag for them to slow everyone down. They're not going to do that, are they? So. Okay, we're going to head back down to the command centre again, and this time we've got Sarah Price from Chip Ganassi Racing with the Hummer EV. Hey, Sarah. Well done on the first half of the final. I know that we don't really like doing the final in two halves. So you were at the back of the pack there. Did you? What happened at the start? Those grid positions look so hard to try and find any grip from.
Yeah, 100%. You know, we didn't have the best start, but we did the best we absolutely could, and you know. First things first, I hope Tanner's okay, and he's a good friend of mine, so I'm glad that they did stop the race. Safety's first here, so yeah, we're going to do our best to get back to the front, but that start really killed us. So I have good faith in Kyle, though, and we have the speed to make this happen.
Well, you were flying. We saw your line through turn 2, and you came out from behind. Looked like you popped out from the back of the McLaren on the right. I'm thinking, okay, Sarah's going for it here. And then the dust cloud, you were in amongst it. Did you see Tanner exit stage left, or was it just come out the dust and then where's Tanner?
So I just got out of the dust, and then, yeah, I saw the McLaren car kind of flying in front of me. I think it was finishing its roll, but I think I actually ran over some of their body work, unfortunately. But I know he's good. Just got word that he's safe. So first things first, just glad he's okay.
Yeah, we saw he was out of the car, so we're glad as well. That is always the most important thing. You know, it's only sport, so we're happy always when you guys are okay. So look, Kyle's got to go out there and get this done now. We know he'll go for it. You guys have had such a good weekend. What's been the key? Have you changed your approach to things?
Oh, definitely. I think it's showing this race in particular. You know, we came in here with a new mindset. Last year we had the speed, but we obviously didn't have the consistency of results. And we know we just needed to pull it together and make it happen. And we have an incredible team behind us. You know, GMC, Hummer EV, and Chip Ganassi Racing. It doesn't get better than that. So, you know, all-American team, and we're just trying to do our best we possibly can.
Well, look, we know after last year you guys came so close to the victory. Maybe today is finally the day, so we'll let you get your headset on and get chatting to Kyle. Best of luck for the second half of the final for you guys, all right?
Well, let's go down to Laura Winter, who's there as our pit lane reporter. She's with Sebastian Loeb from X44.
Well, Sebastian, some frustration here with the red flag. Obviously, we all want to make sure that Tanner Faust is okay. It was a good lap from you, second behind Carlos. Just talk us through it, and then indeed what happened as you came into the switch zone.
Yeah, so I had a good start, but Carlos even a better one. So he went ahead after the first corner. I tried to try an opportunity, but Carlos was driving really well, really fast, so I couldn't find any way. And then I just tried to follow in the dust. It was really tricky sometimes. I see absolutely nothing, but I tried to stay flat to keep the contact with him. At the end, we finished lap very close, so that was not so bad. It's still not so bad for the rest of the race. Then it was a red flag, so we didn't know really what will happen, but it seems that it will restart in the same order that we arrived. So
that's quite fair, and looking forward to see what's happening now.
Absolutely, I'll let you go. Better luck to you and Christina. Thanks.
Yeah, so we're hearing that they're going to start with a staggered start. Yes, run, Sebastian, because you might have to start quite quickly. So they are now at in the cars. They're going to go to the exit of the switch zone, and then they will be released in a staggered format, which means that the gaps that they came in with will be retained and the gaps that they go out with will stay the same.
Absolutely brilliant decision. Because that pays off then for those that did well on the first lap. That's a brilliant decision by Race Control, isn't it?
Yeah, we're happy.
We are
very happy right now.
We know it's a tough job. We've spoken about it being a tough job, decisions under pressure, but that is a great decision. So this was your onboard with Sebastian Loeb off the start. Even, just behind one car, he was struggling a bit for vision, doing a brilliant job. Don't forget, though, lots of experience on Dakar and stuff. But one car, then imagine where Tanner was 4 cars back, 3 cars in front of him, and you can start to see, look, Loeb pulls out to the left just for a little bit of extra vision.
This is the first time we've really seen them struggle with that, Sam. We've had quite a lot of rain, not that much rain, but quite a lot of rain over the course of the weekend, and that's just tempered down the dust. So this is going to be advantage Acciona Sainz, isn't it? They go out in the lead. Leia Sands, will she be hunted down by her competitors? Possibly, maybe. Christopherson will be out there for RXR, Leduc for Chip Ganassi Racing, and Gutierrez for X44. It is such a lineup. Unfortunately, not McLaren. They are out of this, but a 4-car, 1-lap dash. And look, a really good briefing for Gutierrez.
Laia is in front, she will be in front. After the first turn, maybe you can try the line from the right.
Right.
And go around.
Okay.
Then, if you are too far in the dust and you cannot pass with the hyperdrive.
I use the hyperdrive in the last straight. Or you prefer in the first?
So good to listen in on Sebastian Loeb there. Luckily for us, of course, they don't speak the same language, so they've had to revert to English, unlike you pesky Swedes who always scupper us. But that's brilliant hearing him say what, and she's like, no, I want to use the hyperdrive at the end. Here we go again.
Hyperdrive already. Keep it. Then if you find you are very close in the straight, then use. But, you know. You know when it restarts?
We do.
After Laia.
It's a minute.
This I know.
This I know.
I love that. It's going to be when Laia goes after her.
That's really, I've got so much respect for Sebastian Loeb. He's an absolute legend, but you don't always get to see that really, he's obviously really cares there that Gutierrez has the best information possible. Bit of banter. He ran back to her from the command center to the switch zone, and I think that's great, really cool. RXR, one of the technicians leaning into the car, doing some sort of a reset on the dash.
Okay.
Swedish.
Yeah, that's not
Need
fair,
a translator.
is it? So just to clarify, it will be Sands going out for Acciona Sainz in first. Second will be Gutierrez for X44. Third place, Christopherson. This team, this car, Arlen Kotlinski, teammate, new teammate for the year, chatting. They'll be in third place for RXR, and then Chip Ganassi Racing will go out. A staggered restart from the switch zone.
Yeah, from the gate it looks like. So it looks like they're going to send them from the gate. That's the fairest way to do it. So they'll let them off one at a time. This is brilliant. This is such the right way to do it. They waited for the red flag until everyone was coming into the switch zone. And then they've got, obviously, from the switch zone, you have a timing line coming in. So that will have given them the exact gaps, which I'm afraid we don't have here, but that will have given them the exact gaps. And then from those gaps, you release them at the same time. So, OK, you might be up by a tenth if you're waving a green flag. It doesn't matter. It's way better for Carlos Sainz's teammate, Laia Sanz, and Sebastian Loeb's teammate, Christina Gutierrez. They don't want to do a line start, with the other drivers. They want to take the advantage that their drivers took from that first start.
How nerve-wracking is this going to be for Laia Sanz right now? We know she's an absolute pro, 14 times trials champion, but that's on 2 wheels. She's switched over to 4 wheels now. She's just come back from Dakar, competing in 4 wheels in a car. But look at the field behind you, just waiting, lurking.
It's incredibly nerve-wracking. But you know what? You've got to reset, and you've got to go, this is the same gap I would have had if I jumped in the car and left immediately. You know, you just got to switch your sporting head on and go, this is the gap Carlos came in with, this is the gap Sebastian came in with, let's go.
How important, then, is your actual physical start? Because it's a very different start, isn't it, from all of you in a line together. She's got to nail it and presumably give the car behind her, RXR, an absolute mouthful of dirt.
I mean, at least here everyone's on roughly the same line. Are they letting Laia Sanz go, or are they sending her around to a green flag point? She's going to a green flag point. OK, so they're going to bring her up to there. I don't know. I would love to know what the intervals were between them. Here we go. They're bringing her forward. So they must have... I suspect he's got a timing line, has he? Maybe over on the side.
Was it about 3 seconds by the time they came in? We don't have it. I'm really sorry. We don't have that timing in front of us, but we'll see the physical gap when it does happen.
So they line them up now. I think they're going to put them in a line. Now, OK, the reason they'll be doing this is because some of the gaps will be too close. So if you're on the second row and then you've only got 3 seconds between, you'd have to pull the car forward, stop it, and then go again. So they're obviously putting them in a line, and then they'll just send them off on the stagger.
But Laia's right in that deep gully now, isn't she?
But yeah, we've seen already. Yeah, maybe that will work. I don't think that's so critical. The other thing here is, obviously, there is going to be dust, but it's not dust like you would have had with a 4-car start. So the gaps will help with the dust, but obviously you're going to be closing up and getting into that dust.
So to the left, Laia Sanz for Sainz Acciona. Then it's Gutierrez, X44. Then across one, you can see Johan Kristoffersson folding himself into that car, the tall, rangy frame of RXR, our reigning champion. And Carla Duke, very relaxed. The door just gets open. They'll start last for Chip Ganassi Racing. They wanted to turn around their lap this weekend, so they'll, fingers crossed, can close down a gap. You can tell which one's RXR. They've got no rear on it.
And a big RXR written on the side.
Oh, yes. OK.
There is that. But, yeah, you're right. Nothing on the rear.
So let's see what can happen. It's a final 1-lap dash to the flag. Who will get it? Acciona Sainz should start first. Loeb's door just opening. Gutierrez's door just opening in the X44. So there might be a little hold on this. Let's see.
I was thinking exactly the same thing as to whether Laia's looking across, and I think they'll hold it personally. Yeah, they're holding it. OK, so that looks like one of the stewards going across and potentially just giving each of the drivers a piece.
They will go 2 seconds after.
So Guy Nichols out there telling them exactly what their timing will be, exactly how it's going to work so that it's fair for all of them. There we go. So Laia Sanz first out for Acciona Sainz. She will retain the gap that they had after this 1 lap where it was red flag. She has to stay out in front. Next up, it's X44 to chase her down. It is Cristina Gutierrez, vastly experienced driver. Then Johan Kristoffersson is a magic man when it comes behind a wheel. What can he do? Our reigning champions for RXR, and last to go out, it's Carl Leduc for Chip Ganassi Racing. This is a 1-lap shootout, Andrew Coley.
It is indeed. You cannot count out Leduc and Kristoffersson, can you, back there? But also, remember, Sanz and Gutierrez have been really quick all weekend. We haven't seen the gaps close down that easily. Kristoffersson already pushing in the background, takes a high line. Dust kicks up. Whereabouts is the X44 machine? There it is. The gap was 9.3. Look for Kristoffersson to the lead. Watch that one first of all in the background. Now Leduc is up in turn 2.
Terrifying, isn't it, for Laia Sanz to know that everybody is circling behind her, but she's got to go out there and almost just do her own thing, knowing she's got clear vision as she makes her way up towards the part where we had the incident before and the McLaren cleared away now.
This is the worst of the dust here, so as long as you can hold station here, Kristoffersson has the chance to close down the gap because he doesn't have as much dust, and he does. It's already down to 7.6. Now we get into the heavy sand. From now on, the visibility's good, and he can expect this one to be fire. Sanz leads from Gutierrez, 2.42. How far back is Kristoffersson? Still 6.87, but he's visibly close now.
Yeah, you can see him lurking in the background as he closes in the gap. It's really great when we get a long shot because you can see exactly what the dust is doing. You can see how sticky the cars get. You can see, actually, Laia Sanz looking pretty good out there at the moment. She seems to have managed to extend that lead once again from X44, and Rosberg X-Racing are closing!
So Rosberg X-Racing, Kristoffersson now 6.937, but I think he's closer than that already. Gutierrez 4.5 off the back. So Laia Sanz is doing a great job here. If Kristoffersson get past, don't forget he's got to get past Gutierrez as well. And now more dust look for him to face coming up the hill. On the rearward shot there is Laia Sanz. Whereabouts is there is X44. Kristoffersson's right there. RXR are right on the tail of X44. Going to go wide and look for a gap.
This is a lovely point in the track to try and do an overtake move. It's a wide outreach of the desert. You can see the dust kicking up, but you can take multiple lines through this bit. We've seen incidents, but look, RXR closing down. Christopherson all over the back. Oh, he's lost a little bit of wheel control. He goes really wide.
Up on two wheels for Christopherson, straightened out the steering to hold on to the car in those ruts. Now comes back through the other way. Tanner Faust made a pass at the end of this straight. Expect everyone to use hyperdrive here. Christopherson goes first, up to 400 kilowatts of power, slots out to the right-hand side. Gonna come past X44. He's now got to stay on that throttle pedal as long as he can. Goes to the right of the camel grass. Leia Sands responds. She goes onto the hyperdrive now. She comes up the hill, up and over the crest. Christopherson jumps with the extra speed sideways into the dust. This is where Faust passed in the background. Leduc is too far back to make any kind of an impression here. Oh, Christopherson's closing right in.
So Leia Sands is trying to hold on to this. Christopherson all over the back of her. Just look at this, coming down the really steep section. You can really lose yourself at the bottom of this. You've got to stay honest. But what are they going to do? Different angles, and it's gone. It is Christopherson who's managed to take the lead, but he goes really wide. What can Sands do to compete back? Look how far Christopherson has gone.
Straight into the lead, but Christopherson drops it onto that low line. Leia Sands in super close behind. Don't think she's going to be able to respond to it, though. Christopherson comes up to the crest. He's going to jump over this, and it's just the run down the hill. So with a new teammate, Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski, but the same car, same results. Johan Christopherson, the reigning champion, crosses the line to take the win in round one. NEOM Saudi Arabia goes to RXR. P2, Acciona Sainz. Great job by Leia Sands. She held on to just before the end. And then P3, Loeb and Gutierrez, X44, 5.8 seconds between them. Woo! Super close. Good job. Great pass by Christopherson down the hill.
Well, Christopherson and Arlen-Kotlinski come together, new team, same old championship winning vibes. RXR are the Desert X Prix winners.
Yeah, he's all smiles. Look, Christopherson is all smiles in the car. He knows he's got the job done from a fair way back there. You can see Arlen-Kotlinski was over the moon. She came in, of course, where did they head off? P3, I think, Jenny? Yeah, they were P3 off the line.
That one was big. That means a lot. You can tell, can't you? It means a lot to come back with a new teammate, as you say, a new combination, but to come back and be able to come from third, fight back in a one-lap dash. The car might not look pretty, but my word, what a beautiful win.
They made it work, didn't they? And I think he had that line for the last corner in mind from earlier. Do you remember he took that low line and then said, it's just where I ended up? Johan Christopherson rarely ends up in places.
You called that very early on,
I just wonder, you know, has he seen, with the extra pace I can carry through that corner, you know you won't make the exit, but it doesn't matter if you drop onto the low line up. So great pass by him. I feel a bit for Leia Sands, you know, but that's the way it goes. He is a four-time World Rallycross champion, and he is the reigning. Yes. Brilliant stuff.
That was some adrenaline.
Christopher and Arlen-Kotlinski win for RXR. Oh.
Wow, I mean, he is a machine. He's king. That's just epic.
Oh, well done.
What a drive.
Absolutely brilliant for you, Michaela. Obviously, lots of pressure coming into the championship winning team, but a great drive by you. Very strange to have the final in two halves. I bet the tension was really high, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And like you say, coming into a new team and ending up now on top of the podium is just epic. And I'm so thankful for this opportunity. And wow, what a drive.
Yeah, what did you think at the end? Well, did you know where Johan was going to have a go? Was that a plan? Because he's often got a plan, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, we were discussing, but you know, in the end, you have to try to take all the chances you can, which he did to 100%. So yeah, it's time to celebrate.
All right, well done, you guys. Absolutely fantastic. Go and enjoy it. Go and see Johan. Go for it.
I will. Thank you.
Oh, my God.
Oh, just want to listen.
Yeah.
Yes, that was brilliant. A brilliant performance. And Arlen-Kotlinski said...
I find some new lines there. I was okay.
After the NEOM downhill.
Yeah.
I find some new lines.
Honestly, you say it was planned. We'll never agree on this. I don't think it was really that planned. I just think it's where he went and he made absolutely the most of it.
Yeah.
When you're in that battle, going down a gradient that steep, yes, he's an absolute magician in the car. Rightfully so, 4 times World Rallycross champion. It was kind of for him to do, wasn't it? But
yeah, it was. I mean, Leia Sands did really well. You held him off for absolutely ages. There she is, bless her.
I was trying to go out, to go inside because I saw you, but...
It's good for her. So she thought that he would go deep because he was coming in so hot, and she would go wide and then tight.
You guys knew what we were doing. So I thought you saw
Brilliant. Great racing from, and I think Kristoffersson looks actually really relieved to have taken the win. Maybe he didn't think he could do it from back there. What about that moment, Jenny? 2 wheels on the RXR. When he bicycled hard, didn't he, up at the top crest?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, we're going to look at this, the moment of celebration. We're going to go down for some interviews again, Laura Woods.
Well, Seb, Christina, you've just come over here, Christina, and said sorry to Sebastian. I don't think you have anything to apologise for, but I can imagine there are mixed emotions with 3rd place.
No, it's good because it's not easy, no? Today is a lot of dust, so it's difficult to try to overtake. Johan did a really nice job. And I tried to do my best, also Seb, and this is the finish. We take the points, I think, the super sector, so it's good for the championship.
Great stuff. And Sebastian, a word from you as well. First race, 3rd place, title fight starts now.
Yes, for sure. We did a good weekend, I think. 3rd in the final, but we have also the super sector, so that's some extra 5 points. It's not bad to take at the beginning of the championship. So we had a good drive, good feeling. The race, like Christina said, with the dust at the final, it was really tricky. We are here, it's not too bad on the podium.
A great first result for you guys. Thank you so much. Well done.
Thank you.
Congratulations, 3rd place.
So good stuff. Apologies, Laura Winter, not Laura Woods, of course. And the boss, Alejandro Agag, just going up and giving his congratulations. Well, a reminder, RXR in 1st place, Acciona Sainz 2nd, and X44 in 3rd. But as they rightly called it, fastest in the traction challenge this weekend. So they get the extra 5 points from Continental. And that is a big thumbs up for them. It'll help them maybe down the line. Remember last season, separated by no points, so it can make a big deciding factor in this championship. But the first win goes to the team of RXR. Let's try and catch up with some more of our competitors after a fantastic final.
Laia and Carlos in the middle of a debrief here right in front of us. Laia, I'll come to you first. What was it like holding off Johan Kristoffersson? I'd imagine mixed emotions for you as well right now in 2nd.
It was quite stressful, and also everything that happened in the pit, we didn't know sure what's going to happen. I think I was doing great holding Christina, but Kristoffersson was coming like crazy and was really difficult. So I think we must be happy and proud of this weekend because it didn't start so well. And I'm so happy for the guys in the team because they did also a great job.
Exactly. You have started with a podium here after what was a difficult start for you, I know, Carlos, with the crash in quali. Your thoughts on this weekend and 2nd place overall?
Yes, very, very happy for sure for the whole team. You know, we have such a difficult last year situations, and finally we have a clean weekend and nearly clean weekend, at least the semi-final and final. And Laia did great, and so happy for everybody in the team, for her, and at least now we are coming closer to the podium. The victory is not so far.
We look forward to seeing how you go this season. Well done to you, 2nd place. I'll let you go to the podium. Thank you.
Yeah, good job from Sainz and Sands. They finished 3rd in Greenland, but this their best ever finish in Extreme with a 2nd place.
Yeah, P2 here, isn't it? Can they go one better and get a win this season? Unlucky for McLaren down in 5th, plus 2 laps. That big crash for Tanner Faust. Hopefully he's okay. Sarah Price and Carl Leduc, P4. 3rd for Loeb and Gutierrez, 5.8 seconds, covering the top 3. 2nd place for Carlos Sainz and Laia Sanz. But it is a win for Arlen Kotlinski on her debut with RXR, and of course another win for Kristoffersson, the reigning champion.
So here are the highlights, and you can see this was the start. X44 doing a good job, but then on the right-hand side, you can see Acciona Sainz and RXR coming together a little close, weren't they? Cigarette paper between them.
I'm surprised Carlos didn't have a cheeky little glance to the left there, but I actually don't think they can because of this. So if you could look at the inputs, the steering inputs he's had to make to hang on to the car. So normally on a race start, you could look to the left and, you know, you can actually physically look at the car, but when you've got so much going on in terms of the surface, not so much.
So this is the Acciona
incident that happened which caused the red flag after they'd finished the lap. You can see Tanner Faust taking a somersault there. McLaren, really unfortunate for them. A brand new championship for them, but wasn't to be today. But they'll have learnt a huge amount, and they'll know that next up, Sardinia, there won't be this much dust.
No, Sardinia was completely different as we had that final start in Sardinia. Of course, we changed venues here. Remember, the track can be different every time. Even if we go back to somewhere, we can do a different track. It's one of the nice things about Extreme. I think we can change layouts. This was the restart. First time we've done this. Great decision from race control, because it gave the teams the fair chance to do, to respond to the efforts that their first driver had put in.
Yeah, really good move from them to be able to keep that. But look, this is the pressure that Kristoffersen was putting all over the back of Gutierrez in the X44 car. And then Sainz clearly set after using the hyperdrive to make the move to the outside. Whizzes past on the way through this really open, airy area where there isn't too much dust. And then has to suck back in to the back of the Acciona Sainz car.
So this was the brilliant pass. Look how deep he goes, just goes in super hard. Laya Sanz said, I saw you coming. But look how low he goes. No one's been that low. He's about 5 car widths further down, but he's such a wily bloke. He will at least have seen that as an exit road. I think if Gutierrez had gone hyperdrive earlier, because Kristoffersen went first, Kristoffersen wouldn't have been able to pass X44, and I think it would have been a different story. But he was first on the hyperdrive coming onto that straight, got the job done.
Rosberg X Racing starting off as last season finish. Congratulations to you. Johan, I'm going to come to you first just to recap that lap, because you walked over and said, oh, it was easy. I don't think it was it?
Definitely not. No, I think the adrenaline is sinking a bit now, but yeah, it's not very often I get adrenaline rush from driving a race car, but yeah, this was, I think, the biggest adrenaline rush I had for a very long time. So yeah, I couldn't see much during the whole run, and I was actually a bit closer than I thought when I got out behind Christina and Leia, so I thought that, okay, I might as well just try and catch them, and I did absolutely everything I could. I find some new lines that I never thought that was there, and I was a bit afraid also for the impact with Kevin early these days. I was like trying to hold my breath during the whole run and be prepared for some hard impacts, but yeah, and then managed to get Christina after proper two-wheel action in gate 15, and then I yeah, pressed the hyperdrive a little bit earlier to get up on the side of her to put her as quick as I could in the dust, and then yeah, just driving blind up to 21, catching Laya, and then brought more speed than I ever thought that was possible in 21, and then dive bomb in 22, and then yeah, it was unbelievable. Michaela came to me before the run and said, take care in gate 22, which is the second last one, because I nearly rolled there, and I went almost flat out through there, so maybe that was the key.
Thank you very much, Johan, for that comprehensive overview. Michaela, just to you very, very quickly, new team, first win, how are you feeling?
Amazing. I mean, this is the best we could do, and I'm just so proud to be part of this team. And I mean, this man, he's a machine. That was epic.
Thank you very much to you. Congratulations. Off to the podium.
Thank you.
Yeah, off to the podium. It's not that far. The podium's just around the corner.
Very rare to see Kristoffersen so full of adrenaline at the end. You know, I love the fact he goes, very rarely do I get a rush from driving a racing car, which is hilarious, but it gives you some insight into what we've been saying for a long time as to how cool and calm and collected, how much of a plan there is. It's make plan, execute plan always with Johan, and so therefore the rush isn't there in quite the same way for those of us who are just hanging on for dear life. And I think that's one of those times where maybe he was just hanging on.
I think so. I think you're absolutely right. Let's watch the start again, because you can see the 3 cars that ended up on the podium going out in front. You've got X44 in the purple car, RXR in the middle, and Acciona Sainz just going up on 2 wheels slightly, actually bumping all over the shop, but managed to get a really nice land and then propelled forward with Carlos Sainz at the wheel to get a really clean loop round to turn 1. And actually, that was crucial. Keep your visibility.
Yeah, Sainz got a big kick there on the left-hander as he came in. Faustlook goes to the right of the greenery and then cuts back into the left. I think he's maybe hoping he'd get a little bit more exit speed. And look how close Sarah Price was to the back. That was what I was saying when we spoke to her in the command centre. But as soon as she's in the dust of the 4 cars, she can't do anything, and neither can Faust. Into the back of the RXR. Arlen Kotlinski propelled off to the right-hand side. She's then in the big dust cloud. You're on board with Faust now. He's already been through the scenery. Look, front right.
Do you know what? I think they were pretty lucky, actually, because that could have actually altered the whole course of it. The impact of RXR was pretty heavy, and they got away without any damage, which shows the durability, how sturdy these are, these Odyssey 21 cars.
Trying to see, I'd love to see exactly what happened to Tanner. There's him missing the camel grass to the when he went right. I just don't think we'll see it because the dust off the back of the RXR means we can't see what he hits. Obviously, he hits the RXR, we know that, but yeah, there we go. Well,
I wonder if the rear of the bodywork for RXR landed on the floor, and I saw it fling up. I just wonder if that acted as a little bit of a ramp and launched them up. It's possible that it could have been enough of a deflection just to move the car. Anyway, we hypothesize. We won't know. I don't know why I'm bothering to hypothesize.
It's all right. I'll text Tanner later and ask him what happened. Yeah. That'd be the best bet, won't it?
Text him now, it's fine.
That was the pass. That was the pass. So this is where I said a moment ago, if Gutierrez, we saw, do you remember, we were on board with Christopherson, he went hyperdrive maybe a second earlier than her, and actually that's what Tanner did on day one. Barely as the car settled, you want to carry the speed for as long as possible across the plane, so you go as early as possible, and that was what he did. That got him through. Look at the dust then as he comes up the hill, but if he'd been behind Gutierrez as well, he might have got past one Jenny, but he wouldn't have got past them both. And that's where he said, I think I went flat out, and I've never been that far down this way. Look
yeah,
at it.
dive bomb at 22. He was dead lucky here, though. Look, he just clips the back with his rear wheel, but manages to hold it beautifully to take the win at the Desert X Prix.
Some great racing here at the Desert X Prix, particularly that last corner move from Johan Christopherson, which he's admitted himself is one of the few times he had any adrenaline podium time.
Desert X Prix in NEOM. Let's begin the celebrations by welcoming our podium finishers to the stage. In third place, X44. In second place, Acciona Sainz XE team. And our winners, Rosberg X Racing. Be upstanding for the winning team's national anthem. Congratulations to all of our winners. Our dignitaries will now present the trophies. Katarina Silva, Head of Product Management, Private Mobility at Continental Tires, will now present the winning team trophy to Kimmo Limatainen, Team Principal of Rosberg X Racing. Professor Richard Washington, Head of the Extreme Scientific Committee, will now present the third place trophies to Cristina Gutierrez and Sebastian Loeb of X44. Julian Tonnerre, CEO of Zenith Watches, will now present the second place trophies to Carlos Sainz and Leia Sanz of Acciona Sainz XE team. And Prince Khalid bin Sultan Al Faisal, Chairman of the Saudi Automobile and Motorcycle Federation and the Saudi Motorsport Company, will now present the first place trophies to Michaela Arlen Kotulinski and Johan Christopherson of Rosberg X Racing.
time to celebrate.
And so the celebrations begin as our drivers and as the RXR team principal Kimmo Lamatainen gets onto there, and they're all going to get up on that top step and celebrate in Saudi Arabia as the sun shines down.
To you at home for watching. See you in Sardinia for the Island X Prix.
We certainly will. Sardinia, our next stop. At my word, what a fantastic weekend of action it's been here in NEOM, Saudi Arabia. Our first trip to NEOM. And look, Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski made the switch across from JBXE. Would it be a gamble?
That's going to fill her full of confidence, because you go to the team, we say, when you go to the championship winning team, you know what they want. They want this. They want the top step of the podium. You don't give them that, and immediately you start to freak out. Have I got their confidence? What's going to happen? Now they've won the first event together. Brilliant drive by both of them. Johan on that last corner was insane, but, you know, that's what we've come to expect from him. They get the win. Swedish flag's up there. You know, they'll be feeling very happy with themselves. So,
I love this moment as well, because it's a chance for the whole team to be celebrated. And Michaela, be careful with her. We're going through the female drivers at the rate of knots. Look after Michaela. Look at that. What a victory for them. You can see how small the group is on the ground. They want to lower the footprint. They don't want to race with any problems. They want to leave a legacy, and they want to race with purpose.
Just a quick one as well. This will be the biggest win of Michaela's career, don't forget. This is her biggest career victory, and she's up there on top of the shoulders, all smiles. Good for her. Pleased for her.
Absolutely. This is all about equality. It's about showcasing what men and women can do in their cars, and my word, they've both had a really good weekend. It wasn't the easiest of weekends for Arlen-Kotlinski. Big pressure, a messy semi-final, but she did great. She did great. This is a reminder of the final race results. 5th, McLaren. 4th, Chip Ganassi Racing. 3rd, X44. In 2nd place, Acciona Sainz, their best finish so far, and RXR starting where they left off, I suppose, really as a championship challenger, getting 1st place in the Desert X Prix.
5 points for Traction Challenge went to who, did we say?
That went to X44, I believe. Sebastian Loeb managing to get the fastest time of a 1:05.535, so they'll get themselves the extra 5 points.
Yeah, they will indeed. I'm just looking at this. Okay. Trying to figure out the points with Loeb. I'm not sure they've put, unless
maybe
Johan take it on the last one. I think Johan, our timing screens are missing as Johan. I think Johan's taken it because it's 25 points for the win, Jenny.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
Yes, the speed he came in at.
So
Johan's nicked that on it as well, because I'd been looking at the points and I was thinking 25 for RXR, then it would have been 15 for Loeb and Gutierrez and X44 plus the 5 on 20. Then he comes up with Michaela at 30. It's like, no way. So they've stolen the 5 points with that dive off the side of the track as well as the victory. I mean, it's sickening, isn't it?
Well, especially as Loeb and Gutierrez were on camera saying, oh, well, we think we've got the Traction Challenge. So they thought they had the 5 points as well. So, yeah, painful little bit, isn't it, for them? But they will come back just as strong. And I tell you what, it shows the caliber of teams that we have this season. 10 of them fighting it out. And we haven't seen a single poor performance. We have had amazing driving all weekend.
While we're seeing the Swedish flags as well, quick update for you on Kevin Hansen. So Kevin has been taken to hospital for some checkups, and obviously we wish him well. Everyone at the championship wishes him well after he was lying on the ground after his run earlier on. We're not quite sure what happened, so obviously you'll be able to get updates from that either from Kevin's social media or from the championships when we've got more to tell you. But he's off to hospital for some checkups.
Yep, and there is Kristoffersson running away. They're off to go and do some celebration shots as well. My word, what a backdrop this has been. What a great place NEOM has been to come racing.
Yeah, it has, hasn't it? Brilliant round 1 of the series. Of course, we've got 5 rounds to go. The deserts this time, each time we go somewhere, we try and highlight some issues in that local area. Here it's desertification, and you can see a stunning backdrop in the background here. Anyway, but next up, we're coming back up towards the Mediterranean, and we'll be heading to Sardinia for the Island X Prix.
From the deserts of Saudi Arabia, Extreme's Electric Odyssey moves to the shores of Sardinia for the Island X Prix.
Desert X Prix is done. See you in Sardinia.
See you in Sardinia.
See you in Sardinia.
Very much looking forward to round 2. After action like this at round 1, Kristoffersson stealing the Continental Traction Challenge and the victory at the second to last corner in the final. It's been brilliant. All the teams are so close together. We got 4 rounds to go. It is on this year.
It so is. 10 excellent teams, 20 amazing drivers, and 5 stunning backdrops. Yes, it's RXR. Yes, wow. We've had a fantastic weekend because the racing has been close. It's been crazy, and these guys have won the first race, the Desert X Prix. Will they retain their championship for a second year in a row? We will find out. Thank you for joining us. Bye for now.
The Desert X Prix is waiting. Extreme E is back.
Oh, no! She had a whopper of a grab.
Alatia makes a pass up the inside, side by side towards the finish line. Oh, Hansen!
That's a massive roll for Hansen.
A huge crash, it's McLaren.
It is Kristoffersson who's managed to take the lead.
NEOM Saudi Arabia goes to RXR.